Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to IRC Super League at Season 7. We're on Round 11. And before we get going into this presentation, I'm hoping that everyone will be standing outside their front doors, outside their on their windows, balconies, whatever it is, and just giving the NHS a round of applause, a clap there for a minute to just show their appreciation of what they've done for us over the past couple of weeks. They've been years really. They've been brilliant. So I hope you just join us in having a quick clap. Awesome, everyone. Thank you for that. And yeah, of course, we just wanted to show our appreciations to the NHS on this very difficult time that's going on in the world at the moment. So yeah, I hope, yeah, of course, we hope everyone is well and fighting fit. And of course, everyone who's having any issues there, we send our condolences from all of the IRC guys that are racing in both Elite and Super. And talking of Elite, we've got an Elite driver with us tonight. So yeah, I've got to be on my best behaviour. Patrick, welcome to the commentary box. Unfortunately, I'm sat alongside you tonight, so you'll have to bear with me on a couple of occasions. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. Yes, it shall be fun. I would also like to say thank you to the NHS for everything they've done for us. It's a very tough time at the moment. But we're all pulling through, and we get back to the racing tonight.
It is, and one thing that I do, and one thing that's really good about the IRC, and of course all online leagues, is the fact that you can just get away, that you can carry on racing, can't you? Really, when all this bad stuff is going on. So yeah, and I think it's a very good way to well, not forget as such, but just kind of put to the back of your mind all of what's going on in the world right now. And which is good stuff indeed. Then, sorry, you can tell then I'm just quickly sharing the old stream across all our platforms as well, and I can't do two things at once because I really struggle. But anyway, we are here in Germany then, when the classic track set on the Formula 1 calendar, 17 turns around this incredible circuit there, 2.8 miles long, and of course Kimi Räikkönen holds the record way back in 2004. Unfortunately, that race didn't end too well for him, did it? He went into the barriers quite hard in turn one. I think it was a rear wing failure actually, which was quite a nasty failure.
He was chasing after Schumacher.
He was indeed, and back when Schumacher was at his pinnacle powers, wasn't he? Really, absolutely fantastic stuff. It was indeed. And we were just about to get ready into this qualifying session as well. We're just waiting for the final couple of drivers to jump in. Let's quickly go through the drivers in the constructors standing, shall we? Before we see any action. At the moment is T. Sammy, who is leading the championship by 93 points. Absolutely a mammoth mountain for anyone to try and overthrow him at the moment. T. Sammy there is almost gone, but as Murray Walker used to say, anything can happen in Formula 1, and it usually does. Matt is second at the moment there. He's 93 points away, with Asdog in third position. I think Asdog's strongest season to date in IRC Super. Fantastic stuff. Roscoe in fourth position. Fifth position is Fizzy on 87 points. At 79 points for Timmy. He's dropped down a position. Steve and Maxi have swapped positions in 7th and 8th position then. Dave, who retired after the Monaco Grand Prix, is still on 9th position on 42 points. And Sprint completes the top 10 on 38 there. The other drivers that have moved in the whole of the Drivers' Championship, Sam has moved up 4 positions after a good score last time out, and we've also got Toon moving up to a couple positions as well. In the constructor stand Toro Rosso have got a mammoth lead again of 102 points from Red Bull in second position. In third position, we have Racing Point. Alfa Romeo and McLaren have swapped positions in fourth and fifth position. Ferrari in sixth position with Mercedes in seventh. Renault eighth, ninth is Haas, and Williams completes the constructor standings then. And we are now going to get ready to race, hopefully, as we're just waiting for the final set of drivers to come in then. But Patrick, I just got to ask about this track then. It looks like quite a fairly easy one on the track map there, doesn't it? It used to be a monster of a track way back in 2001 before, and I love that old track. But they've condensed it down slightly. But what do you like about this track? Is it very technical? Is it how do you find it?
Yeah, well, like you said, the old track was an absolute mammoth track going through the Old Forest. It was a lot less downforce than it is now. But yeah, this track isn't the most technical at all. But the biggest issue with this track for most of the drivers, including myself, is turn one. Because in turn one, it is so easy, especially in qualifying, to invalidate your lap by cutting the first bit or going wide. But then if you get past that bit quite unscathed, then the rest of the lap's pretty self-explanatory.
I must admit, I quite like the old stadium sector when it was very low downforce, wasn't it, on the old track blasted through the forest. That stadium sector was so difficult to get right when you had the skinny rear wing, the T tray like rear wings, didn't you, back in the old days. I still like it now. I quite like the challenge of the stadium sector. I just really enjoy it. But yeah, turn one, as you said, I got to say it's kind of an all or nothing corner. I'm expecting a couple of guys to be hitting the barriers there. Of course, Bottas hit the barrier there quite hard there last season in 2019, didn't he? And unfortunately derailed his German Grand Prix. We are finally in the session, and we're finally ready to get racing around this beautiful circuit here in Germany. And I've got to say, I'm a bit disappointed it's not on the F1 calendar this year, but having said that, it seems like a lot of races are not on the calendar at the moment, is it? As unfortunately we have had a lot of events cancelled. I think it's up to Azerbaijan now that's been cancelled, which it's very I gotta say, I struggle to find something to get myself going at the moment now. But I'm sure. But luckily, that's the beauty about esports, is that we can carry on, can't we? So apologies, guys. I've been waffling on, and I haven't even gone through your comments yet. Of course, Sprint saying evening, Sean and Patrick. Good evening, and we've also got Frank saying evening, chaps. So good stuff indeed. Then, yeah, we're finally into the first qualifying session then of qualifying one. Then we've got 16 drivers, I think, in this session, so only one driver is going to be taking the walk of shame, so to speak. But I gotta say, Patrick, it's still a very difficult. You still got to get the job done, haven't you?
You really do. I mean, Q1 is that type of session where you really sometimes think you've got it in the bag, getting through to the next part of qualifying, but then you never know, especially here with turn one, your lap can be over before you've even begun, basically, so you need to make sure you get that banker in early on in Q1 so you can kind of relax for the rest of the session.
Because it's a short lap, and how do you tackle that then? Do you leave it later than usual, or do you go out, try and get a banker in straight away, then just sit in the garage and see what happens?
Well, the way for me that I personally go about this is I'll put a set of softs on, make sure I get the quickest tyre, because of course it's Q1, so you don't use this set of tyres going ahead into the race or anything, as we see one of the Mercedes coming out of the pits. But I make sure I put a bit of fuel in the car, soft tyres, get that first banker lap in, but making sure I've got that extra fuel just in case I do invalidate, so I can go around and do another lap anyway.
And Max is retired from the session because I think he was a naughty boy last time out, and he's been given a quali ban. Of course, last time the IRC Super Boys was in action was in the Super Cup with the no, it wasn't. I think it was the British Grand Prix actually. So I tell a lie. Apologies. It was the British Grand Prix. Then it was the Super Cup the week before with the F2 cars. I really enjoyed that. Actually, that was a good fun indeed. I reckon we should have more F2 car action. We've got some intermediate tyres out there. As I think that they're expecting a sprinkling of rain. There has been a sprinkling of rain around here in the last couple of seasons in 2018 and 2019. Not sure if I've seen any rain from the comment section at the moment. We've got Lucas joining as well. Lucas, a elite member, and I got to say it was a cracking of race last night. Patrick was involved there, and I got to say it was a cracking of race last night. I bet you enjoyed yourself, didn't you?
It was great fun. It was great fun. First race for IRC, and I must say it was one of the most enjoyable league races I've had. Definitely in recent times. It's great to get into this league. It's great to have the opportunity to commentate beside you as well. So, you know, hopefully this is the first of many. But yeah, it's been fantastic. A great race yesterday. There was quite a lot of argy-bargy, but it was also quite fair, which is always good to see. And from all the leagues that I've been in, I must say in that one race I had yesterday, it was definitely the most respect that I've seen in a league race for a long time, which was fantastic to see, and hopefully we see that again in this session and this race.
As a sprint has been disqualified for blocking the pit entry there. I think he spun it on turn 1, and unfortunately,
yes.
Oh dear, that's not good at all there. So Sprint has been disqualified from the session, so he's going to be starting 16th. If you get disqualified, you start near enough at the basically right at the back there. Snap has left the session in disgust by the look, so he's not happy about Sprint there. But unfortunately for Sprint, then he is out of qualifying. And that is it. So he's got to be watching on the sidelines now. So that's unfortunate for Sprint. For Sprint, it really is. Sprint, of course, the protege, so to speak, of course, Vanquish. Vanquish, one of IRC's most adept racers, one of the most quickest racers in IRC history. I think he was the reason that Elite League came in the first place, wasn't he? He was that quick. My goodness me, wasn't he quick? And the Sprint there is of course, a protege, so to speak, isn't he? Timmy just come through the final turn 16 and 17. Now then, of course, the drag strip, which caused so many issues in 2019, didn't it? My goodness me, that of course also broke my heart slightly as well. It's unfortunately Hulkenberg, who was on course of getting a podium that race, didn't get one, and I was a big Hulkenberg fan. I still am actually. And, oh my goodness me!
Contact in the final corner.
Yeah, it was Asdog, wasn't it? Asdog in the Red Bull there. Very well spotted there. I just got onto it, and yeah, Asdog's not going to be too happy with Matt there. I think that Matt might be under some punishment there from the admins, of course, as the admins there have really have been actually clamping down lately, haven't they, on a couple of things now and again. And so unfortunately, I think that Matt might get the book thrown at him, which is unfortunate there.
Well, one of the great things about this session actually is the fact that now we see Sprint's been disqualified. There's nobody else that can actually leave this session. Of course, it's the top 15 that go through to Q2. So this is basically going to be a test session now for everyone to see if they got the setups right and see if they've got everything perfect going into that Q2 session.
Of course, they're in Parc Fermé rules now, aren't they? So what do you do then in this? Because as you said, it's basically a practice session now, isn't it? Which is very good for the drivers, isn't it? It's PB there is just in the gravel there, isn't he? In the kitty litter, so to speak. But how would you go about the session now? What can you improve on your car setup? Is there anything you can do?
Well, there's a few things you can do. Obviously, you can play around with the fuel and amount that you've got, but I'd say the best thing for them to do now is basically to see whether they can use their ERS. Because, of course, going around the lap, you can extract a lot of lap time, putting it into the right settings going around. And personally, I think that's where I found my most time in qualifying yesterday, was messing around with the ERS settings, because in my first lap in Q1, my ERS settings were all over the place, but then when I got to Q3 it was finally there, which helped me finally put that lap in. So if I was them, I would keep getting out there, even if it's just on one set of tyres, get that banker lap in like I was saying, and then keep going with them ERS settings, making sure you're getting as much lap time as you can out of them tyres and out the car.
So you don't just oh my goodness me, I got to say, these guys that are on the intermediate tyres are really causing some mischief for the guys on the dry tyres there, which probably, as I think that Alfa Romeo there got, I think, a bit impeded there by Steve there, which is a bit unfortunate. But sorry, going back to the ERS then, as I get distracted quite easily. So yeah, apologies about this, Patrick. I'll go waffling on about all kinds of stuff and then come back to your point. Sam's got it's invalidated his lap there. But going back to the ERS then, so I would have an amateur like myself would have just thrown it into the top set of the verse and then just gone full beans around it. So can't you do that around here then?
It's the same with every track, really. Excuse me. It's the same with every track. Basically, having it in hot lap, even though it's set for a hot lap, as in the qualifying setting, it doesn't actually give you the best amount of speed. So when you get into the top gears, around 5, 6, 7 and 8, you have to put it into overtake to get the most maximum speed. It's a common misconception that leaving it in hot lap will actually give you the top speed, when really it's actually overtake mode that gives you that top speed. So, and of course you've got to actually use it in the right amount, because going around the lap you don't have enough ERS to keep it in hot lap and overtake. You have to put it down into high. Anything lower than high, you're wasting time, I'd say. So you've got to keep it in overtake, high and hot lap, but it's making sure you use it at the right moments. At the slower parts of the track using high, and at the fastest parts using overtake.
And I've just got my Microsoft OneNote out, so I'm just making notes of that when I next race, which is hardly ever, guys, as I'm a bit of a hazard on track. So so we'll leave that. So that's why I'm stuck up here now. Matt decided that he's had enough. He's best just staying in the commentary booth and not destroying anyone's race. As unfortunately Roscoe found out in my first ever race in Monaco at IRC. That was my last as well. Just on board with Penny at the moment, as he is on board with him now in the Mercedes. He wasn't feeling too well, was he? About a week or so ago, Penny wasn't, but it's good to see him in the race, and I hope he's on the mend as well. Same with Fizzy as well. Fizzy, who's usually in the commentary booth in the Elite League, didn't feel too well last night, so again, I hope Fizzy's doing good. I hope all his family's doing well as well, and it's great to see both those guys on track as well. There's a Penny there. It's coming through the final turn there, the final turn 17 around here. Lucas just said good evening, Lucas. Hope you're well tonight. Lucas, I think, finished third in the end in the Elite last night. I got to say. A P4 there from Penny now. That's a good old lap there for Penny now, as he just goes slightly off the track then in turn 1. Sam's had 2 attempts there at the moment, but unfortunately he's invalidated both of them, so he's come back in the pits mode. Fizzy is expecting a downpour. He's done a Kimi Raikkonen, or his best impression of Kimi Raikkonen back in Malaysia and gone to the full wet, so I don't think Ferrari's that popular that day with Kimi, was he? But as he also went to get an ice cream as well, that infamous ice cream. Back in Malaysia 2009. I think that was the last time it was half points award as well, wasn't it? I love a little fact like that, so you might hear a little random nugget or two about that. It's T Sammy there, drifting it through turn 1 there. My goodness me, Patrick. If I was doing that, I would have had to change my underwear there, but he was seeming happy about that.
I mean, going through turn 1, you can't do that. You have to make sure that the best thing to do through that corner is actually to lose yourself time, because basically if you go over the top and do that, you're just losing bags and bags of time. You need to make sure you're slow in and fast out, and I feel like that's going to be the key to getting pole position today.
It is indeed, and talking of pole position, T Sammy, who's leading the championship, he's only had 2 pole positions this season. The pole kings, so to speak, has been Steve and Matt, both 3 apiece, and Matt, I think that's the most pole positions Matt's had in the season then, so absolutely good stuff as well. And Steve has shown his 1 lap prowess. Unfortunately, he hasn't. There's a T Sammy's all over the show there, isn't he? And he's in the wall. Oh, he is in the wall there. Of course, Perez visited the wall there, didn't he, as well? So he's in good company, but oh dear. What happened there, Patrick? Was it just the lack of downforce? Or was the tyres just overheating?
Well, the tyres he's obviously on the hard tyres. I'm not entirely sure why he's on the hard tyres, but like I said before, it's probably because he knows he's not going to lead the session anytime soon, because obviously Sprint's been disqualified. But he actually clipped the curb on the inside, which always unsettles the car through that corner. It's almost about flat out in Q3 on soft tyres as long as you don't clip that curb, but he went on it, clipped the curb, and that's just pulled the car around into the wall, so there's nothing really he could do from there.
Yeah, so that's and he stayed out with broken front wing now. T Sammy is. T Sammy has this season has been head and shoulders above everyone else, hasn't he? In terms of pace, he's been really good.
Absolutely.
In the qualifying, no, of course. I don't think he's had the out-and-out speed, but in the race, my goodness me, a bit like Fernando Alonso, isn't he? Just never gives up. He keeps coming at you, doesn't he? Scary stuff indeed. It's like a horror game, film, isn't it? Really, where they just keep coming at you as he flies down the it's a straight with a kink in the middle, isn't it? A bit of a kinky kink there. So there is I think that was a McLaren there who's slightly. It was Timmy, who's somehow gone off halfway through that straight as well. So that was interesting, an interesting little excursion there. Lucas has just said, why are people out on wet tyres? I think, Lucas, that they're expecting a bit of rain over in this region of the world, but I can't see it yet. There's a Sam there going off, and he's getting validated again. This track is very harsh on the invalidating the laps there, isn't it, Patrick? I mean, he only went off by a millimetre there.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you don't need to worry in case anyone's just joining us. Sprint has been disqualified from the session, so everybody who is out on track now will go through to Q2. So they are just finding the boundaries, but yeah, this track is so ridiculous when it comes to track limits through turn 1, turn 2. It's just unbelievably easy to get yourself an invalidation. And actually coming through the final sector as well, because going into that right-hander into the stadium section, which is a fantastic corner, it's very easy to run wide. You can actually get an invalidation there sometimes, depending on Codemaster's decision at the time. But yeah, it's very easy, very easy to get an invalidation. But as you go into about T Sammy, I mean, what can you say about the guy? He's not getting many pole positions, but I think he's got 6 victories already this season, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a common old saying, you don't get points for qualifying, but you do the race. So if he keeps doing that, I don't think he'll be that bothered about qualifying. Because of course you get 25 points for a victory, and that is all he's going to want. Of course, the winner in Silverstone last time out, so he's probably going to want another victory here in Hockenheim.
Yeah, he got a full house actually for Silverstone. So that's only the second time he's had a full house. Of course, you get a bonus point for fast lap now, so it feels like we're back in the 50s, doesn't it? Like Back to the Future kind of thing. I love it. Roscoe's on track at the moment, and it's going through the very fast turn 7 now. In front of the Mercedes grandstand there, Roscoe is before accelerating away then and coming up to the stadium sector as well. I love this over the shoulder shot there. Of course, the halo, kind of abstract view these days with the over-the-shoulder shot, but before coming into the Sachs curve. But I still love it though. It's great, really good stuff indeed. As we look at this in turn 14 and 15 there, T. Sammy there almost impeding his teammate there. I'm not sure. Do you reckon that would have distracted Roscoe a bit there?
I mean, he was purple middle sector, and as you can see, he only went to the top 4, so possibly, I don't think it'll actually caused him any trouble, but it's obviously having that in your eye line always puts you off. It would definitely put me off if it was happening to me. I don't think it was intentional or anything like that, or it actually got in the way of him, but of course, being in your eye line, it just gets on top of you and sometimes can get in your way.
Yeah, and it's it's also a bit of an annoyance as well, isn't it, really? Because you're not sure what the car's going to do, are you? So you're going to be a bit more hesitant, aren't you? Or are you just kind of hoping? Oh, nice.
I mean, sometimes as Sam goes top with a 12.6. It's actually quite a good lap from him in this part of qualifying. But yeah, sometimes you can get a bit of turbulent weight from the car ahead, and it does put you off. But most of the time, it's just that mental thing of having that car in front of you, thinking that, oh, is he going to dart to the left? Is he going to dart to the right? It just kind of puts you off to your braking zone. But sometimes, yeah, it can cause turbulent weight. But thankfully for Roscoe, he got to P4 now, P5, of course, with Sam's lap into P1. But yeah, it's quite a field spread in the times. Of course, they've got some people who are on the inters and stuff. We've got a yellow flag in the parabolica before turn 6. It's just because the car's going slowly, nothing to worry about there in the Haas. But yeah, we've got quite a bit of field spread. We've got the top 2, Sam and Timmy, who got quite quick laps compared to everyone else. We've got somebody going off in the final section of the lap. I think it's where Steve and Roscoe have come to blows there. Steve's on the intermediate tyres, so Roscoe's just covered in on the in-lap by the looks there. They kind of touched at the Sachs curve there. But I'm wondering then if because it looks like we've had a couple of incidents with these intermediates, wets and dry tyres. Of course, we have had a race like that in the past where we've had like all 3 sets of the tyres on track with the dries, inters and wets. But of course, there is not a cloud. Well, there is a cloud in the sky. There's one over there. But of course, I don't think we're going to get any rain on the horizon. But do you think the admins will have to have a look at this in terms of having the inters and wets on? I know that this is a nothing session really, but it's kind of dangerous, isn't it? Yeah, it can be dangerous. If it causes people trouble getting around the laps and it causes contact like it has to be treated as any other session. This has to be treated almost like a race session or like Q3. You can't just go around on the slower tyres getting in people's way. Obviously, they do know that they are going through to the next session anyway, because sprint is out, so that possibly might be the reason they're all doing it. Maybe it's because there's going to be a wet race. Who knows? It would be great for us to watch. But yeah, it's one of those you shouldn't really be doing it at all. You know, you've got to kind of show the respect to your competitors, just give them the room and give them the space. So yeah, I think the admins will actually have to have a look at this and clamp down on what's going on.
I think so, really. Unfortunately, we've seen a couple of near incidents. For some reason, I'm just having a look on the track map. Sam looks like he is binned it, so to speak, or he's kind of gone into the hedge, because he has dropped down to 15th. He was the quickest. I seen him retire. I thought he just retired in the pits, but that to me looks like he's terminally damaged the car. No, remember, no T cameras anymore. No T cars anymore, because of course all this cost saving and stuff. Remember, back in the old days, if that happened, then they would have just ran back onto the spare car. Eddie Irvine did so in Japan, I think, if I remember, 99. That was a 10-so qualifying session. I remember back way back then when I was in my younger years, and I was all, you know, not a care in the world. But yeah, unfortunately,
I wasn't even born.
Oh blimey! Now that just makes you really old. Then, gosh, 3 decades old I was last year, and still got all my ginger locks in the right places. But unfortunately, there Sam is out of qualifying now. I didn't see him on the map. Did you see anything untoward there, Patrick, or was it just?
No, I didn't see anything at all. That is kind of confusing because, of course, if he was to retire even on track, as well as the pit lane, he would still keep his time. So he must have had some sort of crash or some sort of problem for him to retire from the session in that way. Otherwise, he'd have stayed at the top. Of course, as you can see from Sammy in 7th place, he's retired and he's still got his time there. So he must have had some sort of accident, which is bad to see. So because of that, Timmy's now at the top still, as he goes around. The hairpin does Timmy on his lap. And yeah, it's quite a confusing one, that. We'll have to see if he comes through into Q2. If he has terminally crashed his cars, we'll see Timmy going around what is probably the hardest part of the track to get right. This next right-hander, you don't want to touch the curb like he did that. Absolutely perfect from Timmy there going through. And then you got the fastest part of the track. He goes purple in the middle sector, chuck it into the final stadium section. But I think he might go a tad wide there to lose a bit of time. Put it down to third gear for this one is my preferred choice. And then bomb it towards the final part of this lap. Put it in fourth gear. Double apex right-handers. They are two separate corners, but you can basically use it as one corner. Get on early as power as possible. DRS, gun it for the line and see if Timmy can get any bigger improvement. And he does. 12.6 from a 12.9. And it's another fantastic lap from Timmy in Q1.
I got to say, he's in the rhythm there, isn't he? He absolutely nailed those follow two corners there. That was absolutely beautiful. Fizzy is doing his best impression of Colin McRae there, as a lovely bit of drift in there from turn 14. But no, sorry, from car 14. But yeah, that lap from Timmy there, when we was on board with him towards the end of the lap there, that was absolutely sweet as a nut, wasn't it? Do you think Timmy is in the frame for pole position today?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have obviously you're going to have the people who usually go to the top anyway, people like Matt, people like T. Sammy as well, but Timmy did look like the car was on rails then in the final part of the lap. I mean, yesterday I found myself struggling in the race because I actually put a lot of downforce on to get myself perfect through that final sector in qualifying. So in the race down the main straight, or the main curve, as you say, into turn 6, into turn 6 hairpin, I was struggling even with DRS to keep up with people. So I think Timmy, by the looks of it, has a lot of downforce on that car, so he could be looking to get a pole position here as we're in the final 3 minutes now of qualifying one. But yeah, it's one of those, you've got to make sure you kind of balance the downforce in this track, because the first part of the track is basically 2 corners and the rest of it is just full throttle. And then of course you've got sector 2 and sector 3, which are quite high downforce levels, so it's going to be interesting to see in the race if Timmy does get up there, to see what he's like in a straight line going into turn 6 on lap 1.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Timmy has had a pole position before back in Canada last year, and he had a really good qualifying lap there as well. But I think in the race there he did drop down a couple of positions there, so I reckon that Patrick's absolutely nailed that one with the setup, perhaps there. But of course, we won't be able to tell until the race itself. We're just on board with Fizzy there, as again he is just testing out those intermediate tyres and just making sure that he's got enough grip there. He comes through the Sachs curve at a very leisurely pace before coming up to the line then. And if anyone remembers this track back in the Schumacher day, it was absolutely full of red, wasn't it? Of course, there is still probably full of red, but this time with Sebastian Vettel fans. It's a shame that this track's off the calendar now, isn't it? I think
Absolutely.
that when I first seen this track 2002, I was very disappointed, really, to be honest, when I seen it, because I love the Oda track there. It wasn't very good for spectators, was it? Really, I must admit. it was a long old lap. I think it was a 1:45 or something like that, back around the mid-90s. But it's much better for spectators now, isn't it? But what did you think of this track when it first was unveiled back in 2002?
I mean, the old track is just one of those tracks, isn't it? It's kind of like your Monzas, your Monacos. It's just that heritage that I can't help feel that they just absolutely ripped up and got rid of, that heritage of Hockenheim. Of course, this is a place where Jim Clark unfortunately lost his life in a Formula 3 race, I believe, one weekend. But yeah, the old track was one of those. I mean, obviously we never got to drive it on the Formula 1 games, but I've done a bit of Project Car in that, and it's just a fantastic track to just chuck the car around and get the maximum top speed possible. But yeah, this track is one of those. I mean, it's a great track for overtaking for spectators, and personally I actually do really like this track. I think it's a great track to drive, but my god, it would have been great to drive the other one.
It really would. One of my wishes, this is a personal wish of mine now, is is I start once again I go off on a tangent, but one of my personal wishes would be to have like classic tracks on a game, like, you know, Get Your Imolas and this old Germany track, for example. That would be absolutely amazing as well. Even the Turkish Grand Prix. I mean, we have had the Turkey on the on 2010 and 11. I mean, I would love to just send that back, and just commentating on some of the races around there on the league races would have been absolutely fantastic stuff as well.
Oh, there's rain.
Oh, it is rain as well, so they might need the intermediate tyres and wet tyres then. My goodness me then. So I love a sprinkling of rain. I'll get very excited quite easy. They're going to have to go out there straight away, aren't they, Patrick? I'm sure they have to risk on the dry tyres.
I mean, it could be possible that it's a bit too wet, but like you said, if I was them, I'd get out straight away on some dry tyres. It looks like some people are doing, and just see if they can get lapping, because they've got 15 minutes in this session, so even if they don't have enough time to get around on them softer tyres, and the slick tyres, of course, they can get back to the pits, get them intermediates on, and get a lap round. But as we're going out, look at the two Williams, they're both on dry tyres, and I think looking at everybody else, yeah, they're also on dry tyres. Some of them on the mediums, which could be a bit hard for them, because of course they want to be able to do that one stop in the race, which is why they're on the mediums. But in conditions like this, it's very, very hard to get the temperature in the hard compounds of tyres. So if I was them, I'd personally go through on the softer tyres just to make sure that I get that lap in. But we'll see who has the right idea.
And Max is retired again because he's been a naughty boy, so he's unfortunately not going to be able to take part in this. But this is going to be very good indeed. Then, so we're expecting to lose 3 drivers in this session. So 11th, 12th, and 13th, then we're aiming to line up in this session. Anyone who qualifies in the top 10 must start in the tyres if they set that fast time on, which is what Patrick's just alluded to there. Then, anyone who's new to Formula One, then just explain the rules. There are a lot of people that have. There's a lot of regular viewers out there probably get fed up with me talking about all these rules in Q2. But this is the best. This is the best qualifying format in my opinion. And over the years I've been watching Formula One. Of course, we've had the 2 1-hour sessions, didn't we? Way back in '95. Before going to the 1-hour session in '96 to about 2001-2, we found that single start qualifying, which I quite enjoyed personally, because we've seen the likes of Jos Verstappen in the minority having a qualifying lap and things like that. But unfortunately, it wasn't the most exciting for spectators out there, was it? PB going wide there, but I thought it was going to be a track extension. That really isn't at all, as he's now just coming into turn 3 then, and it's that's quite a lot of rain quite quickly actually, as the track is going to be very greasy there, it's going very dodgy and very sketchy at times. Very dodgy. That's not really a professional word to say, is it? My goodness me, I don't show very much professionalism, do I, in these commentary box then, as we're coming down into the hairpin now. Then there is Brown in the background.
He's gone wide. It's PB into the hairpin. Sorry to cut over you there, but he's going to struggle to get the power down now. He's going to have dirt on his tyres, and look at that in behind, the second Williams there of Browner. He's going to have a queue of cars behind him. Look at that, and they're all going to try and get the time in before it's too wet. This is going to be so hard to see who can get through.
Yeah, and that rain has started to get very heavy now. Look at this. Look at all the droplets coming off the halo there on that Williams there. Absolutely incredible stuff. And PB coming into the stadium section as well, then keeping it within the track limits there. Beautiful stuff indeed there from PB before coming through the Sykes cover out. Look at the brake disc glowing there, even in this cold temperature. Getting a bit of a squirrel on as he accelerates out there. And look at that, floating over 14 and 15 then before coming into 16 and 17. PB is going to be the first man to set a time then. And as Patrick said, then look at the queue behind there on that track map there for the second Williams there. PB goes fast at the moment, good 17, but Brown is going to have a queue behind him. Look at that, it's a Trilly train, love it. Now Brown goes second fastest, but T Sammy's only gone second fastest. Timmy is only third fastest. Remember, Timmy was so good in the first qualifying session.
Sammy! He almost hit the wall there. It's turn 1. That was almost completely out of that. Look at that, DRS disabled. So now it's time for intermediate tyres. So those 6 drivers who have got those laps in are going to be absolutely thanking the fact that they have been able to do that. But now what this means as well is, if there's people who have to get through on intermediate tyres, because of course we only had 7 times so far, they're going to be able to start on any tyre they want if they're on intermediate tyres.
So perhaps the guys haven't set a time yet. They might. Well, I was going to say it might be a blessing.
And hogging the wall.
That's a smash and a half there from the front. But luckily he's gone in square, which means that all his pieces are in the right direction. Good stuff indeed there from the Hog. Good skill. Sven there is just coming out of turn 3. They're getting very squirrely as well. Steve is invalidated this time. He's going to have to go around again. But luckily he's at the end of his lap then, so he should be all right. Penny might be able to scrape through in the Q3 here. Oh, he's got wide into Sachs.
He's got wide now.
He just about kept it. I thought he did no man's land there, Patrick. I thought he was drifted off into the gravel.
I mean, to be fair, with this final section, if he keeps it on the track, but he hasn't, he's spun it. If he kept it on the track, he'd have been able to get that lap in, even though DRS had been disabled, because of course he has Sector 1 and Sector 2 completely fine, but he's spun it, and it's going to be a problem now for Steve to be able to get into Q2. Of course, there's only 2 more times that are needed for the top 10, and they're all going to have to be set on intermediates now in case we've got people on laps right now. And look at that, going to the final part of the lap, there's an absolute gaggle of cars trying to set a lap time.
It's a worse lap, and it's a short circuit as well, isn't it? And it's very difficult to find a space on a short circuit, isn't it? We're on board Steve, and who is completely on his own now over at the hairpin, and so we're just keeping on what the racing point can do. But look at that, he can't even get the power down. He's trying to press the loud pedal, but it's so wobbly as he comes out of the hairpin, then flicking it into turn 7, I believe that is. Then do you think it's too wet for the dry tyres now, or do you think he might be able to get a lap in?
Absolutely too wet. Absolutely too wet. I mean, he's going to have to try and put the lap in happen anyway, because if he doesn't do that, it's going to be an even bigger struggle for him to get into Q3, but he's going to have to try and do it. But look at that, he's purple in the middle sector, is Steve, so he's actually still finding a lot of time on those medium tyres, so if he gets through the final sector, he could actually find himself in the top 10 easily.
That's a heroic second sector. My goodness me, Steve. He is a very good qualifier, isn't he? 3 pole positions this season. But look at that. He can hardly keep the car straight. That is incredible car control. That's why these guys are gladiators from both Elite and Super. 40 of the best drivers in the world. We've only got 16 here tonight. But when we do have full grid, I would say they're 40 of the best drivers in the world. Steve goes into 9th fast at the moment. A 32.0. Possibly, I think the intermediate tyres can beat that time. Or am I being a bit optimistic there?
No, I think that can absolutely be on the intermediate side. I was just riding on board with him in the final sector, and he had absolutely no grip at all, as we got a yellow flag in turn 1. I think that actually might have been for Steve. I think he was just going a bit too slowly, but yeah, the intermediate tyres definitely, I think, can beat that. And as we see, Timmy, even though he settled time on the soft tyres, I believe it was, he's actually come out of the pits on he's not come out of the pits, he's got his intermediate tyres fitted in the pits just in case, because he knows it's going to be a hard thing to do in case he gets the rest of this session out. But look at that, he's going through turn 2 and 3 now, and there's just no grip at all, no grip. So it looks like now the top 7 or so who set their time, top 8 excuse me, set their time on the dry tyres, they should be easily through to Q3 now. But as you said before, Murray Walker is a man of many, many fantastic words, as we've got a yellow flag in the middle sector of the lap. But yes, anything can happen in Formula 1, and it usually does. So who knows what's going to happen in these next 8 minutes. Oh,
this is going to be very good stuff indeed, isn't it? So I think that we do have at least 2 positions open for the top 10 as well. And as Patrick rightly pointed out, anyone who qualifies on the intermediate tyres at this stage goes into the top 10, can start on any tyre which they like for the race 10. So that is definitely going to be a big advantage for them as well. So we're just watching Penny at the moment. He's coming through the Sachs curve. He was in no man's land last time he went around there, but hopefully he can get a lap in as well. It'd be great to see Penny in Q3. Of course, the IRC veteran, isn't he? He's been around the block there. Look at that. He's having to correct the car coming out of turn 16 there on his outlap as well then. And look how dull it is. You see that DHL sign there is absolutely illuminating, wasn't it? That's how dull it's got here. Oh, he's gone wide in turn 1 already.
Validation.
Oh, that's going to cost him, do you think?
One thing you cannot do at this time in this session, because it's only going to deteriorate even more. The weather's just going to get worse, and every single time you invalidate into turn 1, it's just going to leave you worse and worse off. So people really need to take it careful into turn 1 so they can get their laps in.
And we're just on board with Hogg then as he flicks it through turn 1 as well. And when we're on board with him, I think they're going to absolutely spin it around there. But Hogg there, and I think that we're on board with Hogg now. Of course, he's changed his helmet colours for tonight, Hogg has. And I think it's the colours of the NHS there. And I'm well done to Hogg there. Hats off to him. Brilliant stuff indeed there. DRS has been disabled. We spoke about that a couple of minutes ago, to be honest. So, he's coming down the back straight then. So, no, of course, the DRS, the drag reduction system, will not be open anymore, because that's, of course, about safety and stuff like that. As the track is a bit moist, isn't it, at this stage of the session? And look at that, tickling 31 miles an hour, Hogg is. And look at how much correction of the car he's got as he's got to get out of that hairpin then. Now he's coming up to the very fast turn 7 there. In the dry, no problem. In the wet, maybe a problem there. Before coming in front of the Mercedes grandstand as well then. He is not far away from home. Well, I say he's not far away from home. He's just coming up to sector 2 now then. Fizzy is just behind him as well. And we've also got Sven out there as well. Penny is invalidated this time. Hogg has gone his personal best in sector 2 then. Good stuff. Sector. Good stuff indeed there from the Ferrari driver. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Only one Ferrari driver tonight then, as Toon is unfortunately damaged his I think it's his R2, but no, L2. You can see, you can tell I don't look at my controller much, do I? But unfortunately, it's the go button has been damaged, so that ain't going to help him, is it? So he'll be at a standstill. So unfortunately, Toon is not in here tonight. Hogg coming up to the line now, and he has got in front of Steve then. That might be imperative. Fizzy's got up to. Wow, that's a great lap from Fizzy on intermediate tyres. My goodness me! Wow. Well, I got to say. Patrick, that was an inhuman lap, wasn't it?
Absolutely phenomenal on the intermediate tyres. Of course, the track has been deteriorating ever since. I mean, even with the slippery conditions at the start, those dry times should have been quicker than any intermediate time set. But that was an absolutely phenomenal lap from Fizzy there. Unbelievable.
that was really good. Oh, Penny's gone off again. He's really struggling to get on the power in that Mercedes, isn't he? Very twitchy car, 57 is Penny is. But he's still carrying on. He's still got this lap going. He has to complete this lap, isn't it? As Patrick's saying, that the track conditions are just going to get worse and worse from at this point onwards. So he needs to just stick with it. Just needs to stay in there. Sven there is on a lap as well. So we're going to keep an eye on what Sven does. Steve is also on track at the moment then. And as Fizzy's shown us there, it doesn't matter what the weather's doing, does it? My goodness me, that's a cracking lap from Fizzy. I would say the best of the season, perhaps. Maybe. That might be a bold statement from myself. I'm not sure of those, to be fair. As Penny comes up to the line, and he is only 11th fastest there. Penny will have to go around again then. As Sven there flicking it through the fast kink there of the back straight. As these intermediate tyres, and you can go round and round on the track, can't you? Depending on your fuel load, or do you think it's one and done here?
No, you can definitely go around many laps. I mean, I'm still on board with Steve now, but he's actually gone off the track again. Steve almost hit the wall, but no, he's thankfully kept it out. But looking at this session here, it's not even going to be the intermediate tyres that are the problem. If you look at everyone's ERS, they're all running completely low on ERS. So if they go around the track at 5, like they're all doing, it's just going to end up with them having no ERS. They're just going to lose time all over. They need to do one lap, one cool down lap, get their ERS back to 100%, and then another push lap. That is the way to get the best lap out of these intermediate tyres.
And we're just watching Sven at the moment, and as he is grappling with that Sauber. Oh, I'm a year behind, sorry. And that Alfa Romeo there is, these teams keep changing their names. I struggle to keep up. I can't even remember what my name is half the time. Sven coming around the final turn then, turn 17, and let's see what he can do then. Deployment is out there, but Sven goes over to 10 fastest. Great time. He's a 10th a second in front of Hogg. Brilliant stuff indeed. Then Harry is 3/10 a second up as well then. This is going to get very tasty in the final stages. Steve is 1.3 seconds up at the moment there. Of course, they did his first time on the dry tyres, so now this is on the intermediate tyres. And look at that then, we've actually got look off the racing line then. That's a very wet track out there indeed then. And remember, these conditions will probably remain stable for Q3 as well, and that has completely thrown everything up in the air. And remember, everything from Q1, well, basically our glorified practice session, that is basically on the back burner now. Is whoever's going to be the best that can tame these conditions there into Q3. PB is fancy like going out on the soft tyres are on in Q3 here, but at the moment he's doing a good job there, isn't he?
Steve, P5.
Well done to Steve. He's up to P5 then. I've got to say, Steve and Fizzy, 2 brilliant laps there on the intermediate tyres. A fantastic time there from Steve. Really good stuff indeed. Then Harry, 2/10 a second up as well. Is any of the guys there? Are they going to struggle? Matt's now starting to slip into a precarious position. Harry into P6 then. My goodness me, this is getting very bad for Matt at the moment. Is Sven there? He's at 5/10 a second down. I reckon that Sven might do this here, Patrick.
I think he's got a fantastic opportunity to get into the top 10 here. I mean, this track is getting and evolving every single second as Sven comes around the final corner. He was up in the middle sector by 5/10. He could get into the top 10 surely, but he hasn't done it. P11 still from Sven, but he's got one more lap possible. He needs to get, like I said, he needs to make sure, if you look at his ERS, it's on 6%. He needs to have this cool down lap. He's got enough time, get back around the line and have another one last gas lap to get into the top 10.
And it looks like Steve needs to do some harvesting quite critically here, because he ain't on a quick lap at the moment. He needs to turn his earth down and perhaps have a cool down lap. But he's got to get on with it, hasn't he, so to speak? There's a yellow flag on the back straight. I think that's just someone there cooling down their car and tyres as well.
I think so.
As now we've got Harry, not Harry, Hogg. I just see the H and just assume it's Harry. Yeah, that's a poor thing from a commentator to do, isn't it? A lot of assumptions there. Sven there is a 10th a second up there, so this is what. But Sven there, as Patrick said there, he needs to do some harvesting, and that was a bit of an appalling corner in there from Sven there. But he's a much better driver than I am. But on what Sven there is really cutting it fine now. He needs to. He needs to harvest, doesn't he? He can get into the top 10 now, but he just needs to do some harvesting out there. Matt is on an outlap now, so I think that Matt has come out there and he feels that his position's under threat. What about Brown and Roscoe then? They might be able to sneak through there. They haven't come out on the track either then. This is going to be a very tense end to qualifying 1. Qualifying 2, I should say. Remember, Q1 was a bit of an anticlimactic start. This Q2 session is looking very good indeed. Hogg there, my goodness me, he's wrestling that car, isn't he? He's like wrestling the bear on that Ferrari. Fantastic stuff, Ben, as he comes into the final section. sector as well. Then he is 0.2 of a second up in the second sector at the moment, and that's only going to get him into the late 24. He's off the track. He's off the track. He's in the wall, and unfortunately, that Hog has damaged the wing section there. I gotta say though, that Ferrari wing is quite strong actually. I thought that would have been completely ripped the nose, the wing section off there. Good stuff there from the Ferrari guys. Hats off. Unfortunately, I don't think that might be the end of qualifying too actually there, Patrick. That was a bit of an anticlimactic end after all. But Sven there just about unfortunately dropped out of Q2. Hog there coming in the pits, and after having a visit to the barrier there, and Penny also as well. So those are 3 guys that have been knocked out of qualifying 2, unfortunately there. And Matt there has come out on track there, and I think he might be just feeding the conditions there for Q3 as well. Yeah, so in terms of the guys that have qualified on the intermediate tyres there, Patrick, do you think they've got an advantage now in terms of they know the track conditions, or is it still going to be all fair?
I think they really do. I mean, they've got quite a few advantages now, because let's not forget, now it's Q2. The people who had the soft tyre runs and the medium tyre runs at the start of the session, of course, that being PB and T Sammy, they're going to have to start on those tyres now going into Q3 and the race, of course, because in case people didn't know who were watching, whatever time you set in Q2 to get through to Q3, those tyres, if it's a dry session, are going to be the ones that you use going into the race. So the people who've got through on the intermediate tyres, they're going to have the ability to know what the track's like going into Q3, but also going to choose any set of tyres they want for the start of the race.
And that is a huge advantage, isn't it? To having brand new spanking a set of tyres, and they're going to be so shiny as well then. And that is an absolutely huge advantage, isn't it? A couple of laps doesn't sound like a huge advantage, does it? But remember, it's all about the long game, isn't it? I think it's 34 laps around here. So there's a lot of lappage to do. And I presume that would you say that the medium tyres are the best tyres to start on, or how would you go about the race?
Definitely. I mean, this race, if it's a dry race, it's a one-stop race if you do a medium to a hard or hard to a medium. So there's going to be guys, I would not be surprised who start in the top 10 on the hard tyres, those people who came in on the intermediates in Q2. So if I was them, I would probably start on the hard tyres, get them out of the way, and then get onto the mediums. If you're starting on soft tyres, it's a nailed-on 2-stop strategy. Otherwise, you're just going to be so slow towards the end of the race. We actually saw yesterday in the Elite League race, Lucas in the Ferrari, he went onto the hard tyres very early on because he had the soft tyres. He was helped quite a lot by the amount of safety cars, which meant he didn't have to push, but he lost so much time towards the end of the race because of how tired his tyres were. So it's going to be one of those, if you start on the mediums or hards, it's definitely going to be a one-stop race, but anything else you're looking at it too.
Well, so I'm looking forward to this race. That's going to be absolutely fantastic stuff. Let's just confirm who has been knocked out of qualifying 2. Maxie's knocked out of qualifying 2. So is Penny, Hog and Sven now. The guys on the intermediate tyres then going into the race, which will be able to have a free set of tyres, choice of tyres for the race then. I will get my teeth back in a minute. Steve, who has got intermediate tyres, so is Harry and Fizzy. So they can start on any tyres which they see fit then. So that's going to be a huge advantage for those guys. And all those guys are IRC veterans there as well. So they just conditions absolute to perfection then. So we could quickly catch up on the comment section. Sprint there. I spun out T1, but starting from the back will be fun. And Harry Saunders saying, come on Max Wilcox there, he's going to win there. Of course Max there will be starting down in 14th position there, but he's a quick driver, isn't he? He came from Elite last season, didn't he? And he has shown some flashes of speed then, hasn't he? Can he get it right then for the race then as well? As Max, he won the cup there, didn't he? In the IRC Super Cup, very well done as well. He's only had one win so far this season for Maxi, but I think he's had a bit of luck there, and also some mistakes that have crept in as well. But I think overall he's been doing a much better job, hasn't he, Maxi is? And he is a very quick driver as well, isn't he? I think he would have been more in the battle with T Sammy if he just eradicated those mistakes earlier on. And he did miss a couple of races as well, didn't it? As here comes Matt coming out of the pits, but rudely Williams there has just got out in front then. As of course these drivers don't know anything about manners when they're on track, do they? It's all for one and one for all. That is, they come out on track then, and look at that rain then. It's getting a bit harder at the moment, but it's still intermediate tyres, isn't it, Patrick? Would you say, or because I don't think the wet tyres would probably be suitable in these conditions at all?
Yeah, I mean, at the start of this session, I'd go out at the intermediates, get that lap in early, because it looks like the conditions are deteriorating. If you look on the track, you can still see that drier line on the racing line anyway, going through that parabolica now. But it's going to be one of them. They have to get that lap in quick. They're going to have to make sure they don't invalidate into turn 1, because if they do that, their lap and their session could theoretically be over, because they won't have enough time, and the weather definitely won't help them out if it keeps getting wetter and wetter.
It is indeed then, and you can see then that dry line is still abundant, as Patrick said. Then it's a lovely shot here from T Sammy. Then, so as you probably know, I do love my camera shots around here. I think they're fabulous. They do really do some amazing camera work, don't they, on Codemasters? Sometimes the penalties can be a bit questionable, especially around here. I mean, just running slightly wide there, and you get a penalty. They can be brutal at times as well, can't they? As we've seen last night as well, didn't we? There was a lot of penalties out there, wasn't it? Dan Murphy did a cracking job last night. Fantastic. So indeed, yellow flags in the Sachs curve. It's I think it's just guys just slowing down, but it's a bit of a traffic jam over there in the stadium sector, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to get space, but at the same time, they're going to have to get around as quick as possible because this weather is just going to get worse. And if they invalidate a turn one, like I said, it's going to make it an absolute massive headache for all of them. So they're going to have to get around as quick as they can. I'm right on board now with Fizzy as well, who's actually gone through turn one quite well in the Alfa Romeo, of course, formerly Sauber, as you said before. But it's going to be that. It's going to be the people who get a line first with a good lap who probably will be on pole position here today.
I've got a quick question then. In terms of the tyre, because I was thinking then they're all queuing up in the Sachs curve. I was thinking about tyre temperature, because usually in the dries you don't want your tyre temperature to drop too low, do you? Because of the grip. Then what happens when you've got the intermediate and wet tyres on? What do you do about that? Do you need them to be as warm as possible, or as cool as possible?
I mean, like you say on the dry tyres, you do want them to be warm, but you can back up on the dry tyres because they don't cool off as quick as the intermediates or the wets. The thing with the intermediates or wets is they have a very, very fine working window, and you have to make sure you get them into that. But one thing that I would say about this session is, even though I was talking about before the ERS deployment, in the wetter conditions like it is now, you actually want a lot less ERS deployments. It makes sure you get a lot less wheel spin and a lot more traction going out of the corners. So you can use that hot lap and the overtake in the very high speed moments going into turn 6, for example. But for the rest of it, you want to actually quite low. As T Sammy actually goes cross line with 123, which isn't a bad lap at all.
That's a very good lap on the wet tyre, on the intermediate tyre. It's fantastic stuff. Here comes Brown going second fastest. He's only on 25. Matt's done at 24. Then we've got an Alfa Romeo on the background there of Fizzy, who is on 24 as well. Look how close they are. My goodness me, 600 a second between Matt and Fizzy there. A whisker between each other. Here comes Steve. He's full position. Wow, look at that.
Unbelievable.
7
tenths.
Oh, Timmy. My goodness me.
22.9.
That is absolutely fantastic. And Harry's gone third fast as well. Brilliant stuff. All those guys in the 23, tipping my hat off. That's absolutely fantastic stuff indeed there from all those guys. PB there, oh, he had a quick look. I thought he lost his wing then, but no, he hasn't. Oh, he's got on the grass slightly there. Timmy and Steve and Harry have had some absolutely fantastic laps there. But Timmy in the 22s, my goodness me, that is superhuman stuff. Here comes PB coming up to the line as well in the Williams. He's taking a lot of deployment there from the Urset, but he still has a 7th finish there in front of his teammate. Here comes Roscoe coming up to the line as well. Roscoe goes into 4th fastest. But Patrick, Timmy, wow, what a lap there. That was incredible.
I mean, a 122.9 in these conditions is a fantastic lap, no matter what league you're in. It was a great lap from him, and Steve as well, of course. Let's not forget. Oh, look at that. Steve's actually gone through an advertisement board. I think he was trying to get out of the way of somebody there. I don't think there was any damage done to his car, but as I was saying before, he was actually struggling to get into Q3, but then, of course, he used that intermediate tyre in Q2 to get through the session. And look at that, because he's had that experience on the intermediate tyres already, he's done a fantastic lap, a 23 flat, as we see. I think it's T Sam as well going 4th fastest as well there. But yeah, Timmy, 22.9, fantastic lap from him.
And we see in the T Sammy and Matt going for an extra lap then, which just you predicted in Q2 there, Patrick, there. So spot on again then. And it's T Sammy and Matt, they're going for an extra time then. And because of that, they have actually found some time there. Timmy's also going for a second lap as well, but he's unfortunately, he hasn't got much hours left really, so that ain't going to help him really, I don't think. So perhaps he might have made a mistake and should have come back in the pits, perhaps. Said, I don't know, I'm not Mystic Meg, unfortunately, but I think that might have been a mistake on his part. So Roscoe is just coming into well, he's on and out at the moment, and you can see then New Life has left the session now, as he probably doesn't want to get wet, unfortunately. But of course, I think he's a part of the Elite League, isn't he? He's a reserve. We haven't seen him. I don't think I've seen New Life race for quite a while actually. As of course one of the Greek drivers, and we got a lot of Greek drivers in the Elite League, and I've got to say the banter in that Elite chat is absolutely fantastic stuff, and it's great to see David, the Greek drivers interact. It does make my day on a lot of occasions, I've got to say, in the Elite stuff as well. But of course tonight is Super Thursday, isn't it? And I've got to say, as Patrick said then, that is a super lap there from Timmy, a 22.9 in any league. It's absolutely sublime, it really is then. as we're just watching all the guys come in the pits. T Sammy is going around again now. My goodness me then. He is doing he's just on course to well, he's 14 seconds down actually. I don't know what I'm waffling on about there, but now he's going around again, and he's done a third lap there on the intermediate tyres. That he must be filled brimming full of fuel there. Do you reckon that's why he had a so-so first lap there?
Yeah, I think it might be. I mean, you're going to have to put extra bit of fuel in the cars in this type of session. But look at that, he's 2/10 up on his time in the first sector. So if he keeps that up, he could be on board for pole position or somewhere around that. But if I was him, I'd use this lap now to maybe get across the line and get that better lap. But if he actually makes a mistake or invalidates something like that, he can go straight into the pits, get a new set of inters on, a lot less fuel, and go for that one final lap.
And I got to say, that's an incredible amount of fuel there. This is going to be his third, fourth lap there, and brilliant stuff indeed there from T Sammy then. As it's going. So I think that what he could do then is, Patrick said, he's just going to basically just judge what's going to happen here, and let's see what his second sector is now. And his second sector, oh my goodness me, he's purple. He's 6/10 of a second up. That is on course for pole position. Then this would be his third pole position then, and that will equal the Matt and Steve, who are both on 3 pole positions as well. We're on board with the nose cone here of the Toro Rosso, and look at the droplets of water there coming off the camera, coming off the front wing there. It is a deluge out there at the moment, isn't it? It's absolutely appalling conditions there. So I hope anyone knows got their barbecues out, and that is pole position at 22.684. Fantastic stuff there from T Sammy. He is going for his third pole position of the season. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Has Timmy got a reply? Has Matt got a reply? Has Steve got a reply? We're going to find out in 4 minutes time then, but this is getting very juicy indeed then, isn't it? On board Fizzy, he's 400 of a second up in the first sector. Lovely stuff indeed as he comes down to the hairpin now then, and as he, look at this then, taking a correction of the car then, going into the hairpin then before accelerating away then, and I got to say, this is looking very good then. Patrick, I don't really like to predict, because every time I do predict, something appalling goes wrong for that driver. But who do you think, who's your money on then for pole position at the moment? T Sammy is the man in the box seat. I'll come back to you in a minute, Patrick, because Fizzy there is doing a bit of rallycross there. Ken Brock would be superbly happy with that. But who's your money on for pole position? I've got to say, T Sammy, is he checked out at the front?
I mean, the track is evolving constantly. From that first lap from Timmy, I can't help but think he's going to grab pole position on his final lap, because looking at the lap from T Sammy, it looks like the track is constantly evolving. Let's not forget he was on 4 lap old intermediate, so those tyres aren't going to be at the best, and he's still set at 22.6, so I think the time's going to come crashing down towards the end of this session, and who knows, I feel like it might be the person who crosses the line last might actually have the best opportunity of getting pole position.
If anyone remembers the Nürburgring back in 1999, I think it was, I got to say, that's one of my favourite years of Formula 1. I think it's a criminally underrated year for 99 is. But if anyone remembers the qualifying session, I think it's one of my favourite qualifying sessions ever, where, as Patrick said, last man crossed the line that gets pole position. That day was Heinz Howard Frentzen in the Jordan there. Brilliant qualifying session. They were just all across the line, and they were just going fast as it. We had Damon Hill who was fast as one point. Then we had Trilly. Then we had I think it was Salo. Then it was Irvine. Then we had both McLarens. Then Frentzen just popped across the line and got pole position there. Basically, he was the last one across the line. We could have a similar thing here tonight then, and that is the beauty of qualifying in the wet weather conditions, isn't it? We, of course, this wet weather did rob us of a exciting end to Q2, but this qualifying free session is going to be absolutely fantastic stuff. Timmy, I think, has had a problem down the Parabolica hairpin there. We're just watching Brown there coming in the final corner now, and he is as light as a feather. He's got to 8 fast at the moment. PB is about to start us up as well, as he is following his teammate then, and I'm not sure if he really wants to slip through in these conditions then. I suppose any advantage is any advantage is an advantage in any form of conditions in Formula 1, but Timmy's invalidated his lap there, so he's going to have to go around again perhaps. And Steve started his lap now. Matt is just about to start his lap. We got also Harry out as well, and this is looking very good indeed, isn't it? I'm really looking forward to this then. Harry flicking it through turn 7 beautifully well there. 10th of a second up at the moment then. T Sammy's in the pits at the moment then. I think he's just coming out now. He's got 1 minute and 30 seconds to get around. That should be enough, shouldn't it, Patrick?
Oh, I mean, it's going to be tight for him there, going through turn 1 as he is now coming out of the pit lane. I mean, he's going to have to use all his ERS, going to have to use all his fuel to get around the lap in a quick way possible. And this is also going to mean his intermediate's going to be a bit warm when he gets across the line. So he might make it, but it might actually be a bit of a problem for him going on that final lap.
Also, T Sammy's on the back foot. Steve has just moved up in the 4th position. No, he hasn't. That was Asdog. Sorry, that's the other Pink Panther. So, Asdog there is, he's a man that seems to pay for his Pirelli tires. He only does one lap. Harry goes third fast. He displaces Asdog. Sorry, I almost swallowed my tongue now. Here comes Steve coming across. He's on pole position at 22.0. Fantastic time for Steve then. T Sammy's still coming on now. Roscoe's moved over the 3rd fastest. Brilliant stuff from the Scotsman. Just behind his teammate. They're in 22, so it's absolutely fantastic stuff, isn't it? As Asdog's invited his time. Here comes Matt into the same stage as well. We've also got Fizzy as well, coming through the Sachs curve then. My goodness me, half a minute to go in this session then. Fizzy there just navigating the Sachs curve, 14 and 15. 2 more corners to go. As Patrick said, it's just one in-swinger, so to speak, isn't it? This is the last corner. What does he do then? Well, he hasn't got no Earths left as well. I think I might have anticlimaxed that for us, Steve then. But what about Matt? Matt is in 2nd position. Harry has retired for the session. He's gone off in the fast kink there. Matt is on the front row. The great fantastic stuff. T Sammy is through and is now going to go for a start. What about Timmy? He's down to 5th. The man who was the pole sitter just a couple of minutes ago. He is only 5th fastest. It's not gone at all well there for Timmy. That's the one. So we just watching. Where is so T Sammy's on another note. We've also got Fizzy as well. And so potentially, is anyone going to be able to steal it from Steve? He's going for his 4th pole position this season. Absolutely cracking stuff indeed then. So it's all or nothing now for Fizzy and for T Sammy. T Sammy currently 3rd at the moment. Fizzy is currently in 8th position then. We're on board for him now. It's coming through the Mercedes grandstand as well then. Dropping down the 2nd gear, accelerating away. Oh, he's kicked out the rear end there. That's going to cost him a bit of time then. Let's see how much time it's cost him. He's almost out of deployment as well, isn't he? He's 3/10 of a second out. I think it's too much to gain there in the stadium sector there for Fizzy. Unfortunately, I think the Fizzy's day might be done there. I have been wrong before. And T Sammy's also a 10th of a second down then. This is looking very good for Steve then as we come into the final sector as well then. What about Fizzy then? He is, we're going to just stay on board for him then. Turn 16, turn 17 then. No, he's in the pits and you can see his back end. And T Sammy's off then. We've got Steve who's on pole position then for the 4th time this season. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Wow, Patrick, I'm glad you joined me for that one there. You made me look half intelligent. What a qualifying session that was. Sum that up, please.
Unbelievable qualifying session. I mean, let's not forget, Steve might have not even got through Q2. He didn't get a lap in on the dry tyres, but that fantastic lap on the intermediates got him through into Q3, and then he used the knowledge that he got from Q2 to get that lap in. 22 flat, unbelievable time. 4/10 of a second around this track is huge. 4/10 of a second between him and Matt in P2. Unbelievable lap from him.
And once again, the two men who have really got the qualifying session really nailed down there. Brilliant stuff from Steve and Matt there to go on the front row. Absolutely, that was an absolutely incredible qualifying session. Really was there. The rain really spiced it up there, didn't it? Halfway through qualifying, T Sammy, the championship leader, is 3rd with Roscoe in 4th position. An all Toro Rosso affair on the 2nd row of the grid. Then, of course, going to make the most of the Toro Rosso team before it becomes the AlphaTauri in 2020, which, of course, which is not relevant in this situation right now, but. Most of the things I say is not relevant. Let's quickly go through the gap, sorry, for the qualifying free. That was an incredible qualifying free, wasn't it? As Patrick said, 4/10 of a second almost between Matt and Steve. It's almost unheard of in this track. That's absolutely fantastic stuff. T Sammy to be half a second away from Steve just shows how incredible his one lap pace is. Roscoe in 4th position, sorry. Timmy, who was on pole position right up to the very end there. He was 7/10 of a second away in the end now. Timmy didn't get a second lap in, I don't think, and unfortunately he will start 5th position. Harry 6th, Asdog 7th, Fizzy 8th, and then the two Williams are in 9th and 10th position then. And I gotta say, this is set up absolutely beautifully well for the race, which is coming up now then. That's the beauty about online racing, is we don't have to actually wait for a day then. I gotta say, the 24 hours between qualifying and the race in the real world of Formula 1 sometimes is the longest 24 hours of my life. So that is the beauty about online racing. And look at that, that's an absolute beautiful day here in Hockenheim. Look at that, the sun is shining. I'm sure there's gonna be barbecues there already ablaze as well. I look forward to this one. So of course Patrick did touch on the what strategies they're going to do as well. Of course, medium to hard tires seems to be the way to go, isn't it? To get the strategy right, but anything can happen with safety cars. Remember last night we had safety cars galore, didn't we? We had virtual safety cars, we had action galore. I'm expecting more of the same here tonight as well. I don't want too much action though, because usually every Thursday night I am absolutely drained, but luckily with Patrick here I might be okay. So Patrick, what is your view viewpoint, what's your expertise then going into this race, and how do you think this race is going to pan out?
I mean, it's one of those races, a race of nutrition, and what I mean by that is turn number 1 is going to be a problem for a lot of people. In this race, I think the best thing that people can do to get the race win or get more points is just to avoid penalties. Avoiding penalties is the way to succeed in any league race, any track, but mostly around a track like this where it's so easy to get those warnings. So I would not be surprised at all if we see somebody with a lot less penalties moving way up the field at the end of the race.
That's a very good point indeed, especially around a short track like this then. Of course, turn 1, you're going to get abundance of penalties. You've got to go through there 34 times, haven't you? And I'm sure that there's going to be a couple of, there's going to be a lot of penalties that is going to be, inherited there. Let's go through the grid, shall we, from front to back. Stay on pole position there for the 4th time this season. Fantastic stuff. Matt is alongside him. That's row 1. That's a tasty row 1, isn't it? The championship leader in 3rd position with Roscoe in 4th then. Timmy is in 5th position. Harry is in 6th. Good stuff. Harry has really just come alive in the second half of the season. Brilliant stuff indeed then. And 7th is Asdog. Fizzy is in 8th position. Good stuff indeed then. With the 2 Williamses 9th and 10th then. We've got Sven just outside the points in 11th position then. Hog is in 12th position. He's on the hard compound tyres then. 13th position is Penny. Maxi in 14th position. Sam in 15th there. What a shame for Sam. I reckon he would have been in the mix in Q3. Sprint is in 16th position. And New Life, who's parked in the pits there, probably thought about driving and then in the end decided against it. Only one man is on the soft tyres then. That is PB there, and the only other man on the hard tyres I think was Sprint there. So yeah, definitely shows exactly the way they want to go, and it's exactly right, isn't it? Really, isn't it? You want a one stop, you don't want to go for any more than one stop, do you? Because that's probably the quickest way around there. Patrick said that. I have no idea, to be honest, because my strategy call is absolutely appalling, and I'll probably try a 4-stopper thinking I'm Schumacher when I'm really not. Anyway, we're coming up to the line now, and here we go then. 34 laps around here. The tension is building. The drama is rising then for IRC Super. This is what you've come to see on Thursday nights. It's absolutely brilliant stuff. Jan van den Brink has said, come on guys, let's race. Good luck everyone. Indeed, I am looking forward to this one then. The drama is about to unfold then. We're just waiting for those 5 sets of lights to come on when we'll be racing then as the tension is built. There they are. That's what we want to see. 4, 5, there's a pause, and we are go! And look at that, and it's a good start then by Steve. That's a cracking start by the poles there then. As we got Asdol, who's already got in front of Harry then as they come through turn 1. It's a pinch point in turn 1, but everyone is through safely. There's 4 breaths there. There's 4 breaths there at the back there. But everyone's gone through. T. Sammy is battling with Roscoe as they come out of turn 3. And look at the background there. They're all safely through. Fantastic stuff. Roscoe's over the third position, I should say that. As they come down the backside. That's a very clean start by everyone. Impressive. Fizz on the pole and starts dropped down 4 positions already. He is down to 12th then as they come down to the airport. Oh my goodness me, look at all those cars. It's like a Monday morning traffic jam, and we're on board then with Sprint as he's just taking it very cautiously as well. There's a Mercedes of Penny. We'll have to try now. We've got Debris I think, as we've got a wingnet has come off there as well. Patrick, I gotta say I'm very impressed. Asdog, it's a float by T. Sammy has dropped down into 4th, 6th position then as the championship leaders had a bit of a problem opening up then. Patrick, what a good start then. I gotta say that's very well behaved for all these guys.
Yeah, fantastic behaviour from everyone. Steve getting an absolutely perfect start from pole position. Going into turn 6, he broke the slipstream of Matt because Matt didn't have the best start, and that made it absolutely easy for him going through. But look at that, like you said, T. Salmon having the best start that he wanted. Of course, the winner from last time at Silverstone, he's got a massive job ahead of him now, but Steve is absolutely bolted at the front.
Incredible. So he's done a Vettel kind of esque maneuver, hasn't he? Remember back in Vettel's Red Bull days, he always tried to pull out a 2-second gap at the beginning of every race, so he didn't get in DRS. Sam is up into 10th. Fantastic time there for Sam. Oh, he's got a 3-second penalty already there. As I think that is just the strength. And Patrick's pointed. He's going up the inside. Brown is on his teammate there. They're side by side. The Williams guys are. Brown up into 11th position. Good stuff. As a PB. Oh my goodness me! I thought he was going off the track there. Fizzy's now back up to 12th position as well. Lovely shot here from the Alfa Romeo. Look at that then. And look at the swarm of cars behind him then. On board with Fizzy again, and he's side by side with Brown as they come down into the hairpin as well. Maxi and Harry are just battling away then. As Fizzy there doing a good job as going up the inside. He's past the Williams. Good stuff indeed then. And look at Maxi there. He is flying through the field like a hot knife through butter. Fantastic stuff. He's up to 8th position. He's up 6 positions. My goodness me, this man is eyeing around. 3-second penalty for Harry as well. And we're only on lap 2 and we've already got penalties fluttering in then. And Sven there's gone wide then. Max is up the inside, going into the same sector. fantastic stuff. Sven's on the outside. Good move there from Maxi there. He is trying, he is coming back through the field fantastically well. 7 positions in 2 laps. Goodness me. How much skill does that take, Patrick, to get through from like 14th to 7th? That's amazing.
Maxi seems like he's in a race with somebody else apart from everybody else in the Super League. Almost like he's in an elite race with the amount of positions he's made up in lap 1. And look at that, Matt getting the fastest lap of the race. He's going to be closing in on Steve. He wants to get into that DRS zone. That is the most important thing on this track, is keeping in that slipstream and in that DRS so you can save your ERS, save your fuel, and make sure that you can put a proper attack in towards the end of the race. And Matt, once again, has gone purple in the first sector. So he's going to absolutely try and get on the back of Steve, get into that DRS zone, and actually make a proper move before the pit stop start. But it looks like we're getting a bit of field spread now. Timmy is up into 4th place, and we've got Asdog on the back of him, actually almost making a move into turn 6 hairpin there. But yeah, the fielders have done an absolutely great job not causing any contact. I actually think Fizzy's got a bit of front wing damage in that Alfa Romeo. Yes, he has. And looking at that, we've got the Williams side by side of PB and Hog. Hog's gone a little bit wide there, but PB has been able to get through on him on those soft tyres. Going to have a big problem there though, PB, on them soft tyres. Of course, he went through Q2, like I said, on those soft tyres, and that made it hard for him. He's the only car that's had to start on the soft tyres. But yeah, Steve at the front, pulling a tiny bit of a gap, but Matt is going to want to try and pull that in for that DRS to get the race win.
I'm looking forward to this. This is fantastic stuff. Really good 17. And thank you all for joining us tonight. My goodness me, we've got an audience here tonight. And I've got to say, I'm feeling under a bit of pressure. I've got to have a bit of professionalism about me tonight, haven't I? Good stuff indeed. I think it's just because you've heard the beautiful soothing sounds of Patrick in the commentary box, haven't you? You know that you know an expert when you hear one. Fantastic stuff indeed. Then it's Maxi there. It's just coming up to the back of T Sammy, as these guys had some incredible battles, haven't they, over the season so far? And I feel that the challenge will be a lot closer if Maxi just had a bit more consistency. And of course, that's no criticism of Maxi, is it? In terms of his talent, his talent is mega. As Asdog has moved up into 4th position there, as T Sammy has dropped down to 5th position. We've also got Harry and Sven battling away as well, as Asdog's showing a rear wheel there to Timmy, and he is up into 4th position, I should say. Well done indeed there. And look at the background there, Sven. Oh, we got damage there. That's damage on the Haas, I think it is. It's Sammy who's knocked off the end plate there of the Haas, and he's going to have almighty amount of understeer now, as he's going into the Mercedes grandstand, and Sven there is going way deep there. But wow, fair play actually. He slowed down very well. I thought he was going off into Narnia there. Good stuff indeed there from Sven there, as we got a bit of a queue now forming behind Timmy and also Asdog as well. Asdog's just got by, so expect Asdog to pull away here. But Timmy really strong at this stage of the race then. Do you think that you commented on the setup of Timmy in qualifying, Patrick? Do you think that this is where it's now starting to bite him in terms of the downforce he's got?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, looking at the lap and where he's gaining his time, in the final sector he gains a lot of time on the cars ahead. Like I said, having a lot of downforce there that'd help him. But then going into the turn 6 hairpin, where you'd think he'd be able to make a move, he's not been able to. He's not been able to catch up, even if the racing point in front of Asdog hasn't had the DRS of Roscoe in front. But looking at this now, Timmy's right on the back of him, and surely he's going to be able to make a move into turn 6.
He is indeed. Look at that. He's got the slipstream, and Asdog there is feigning on the inside. He's now got the outside though, hasn't he? Timmy is through and up into 4th position there. Good stuff indeed then. Oh, but he's gone a bit deep there, hasn't he? As Asdog is trying to go for the switch back there, but at the moment then it's all good stuff there. Timmy is back up in the 4th position. And look behind there. We got it's kind of like father leader at the moment, isn't it? It's Harry, Sven, and Sam are having a party all by themselves, isn't it? Freeze a crowd, and I'm wondering if Sam wants to get by. He's gone into the back of Sven there. It was very close indeed then, wasn't it? I've got to say, the way that some of these guys judge their braking point is absolutely spot on, and how you do it for 34 laps is just unreal to me. They're superhuman sometimes. It really is there, as we're just on board then with T Sam as well. Sam is gone. We got a yellow flag. Sven is off the track there. That's just coming into the stadium sector as well. He undamaged the car there, so he's gone in square, and luckily for Sven there. Penny's moved out to 14th position as well. So Sven is trying to get back on the track there, isn't he? He's now back on the track now. Back with his battle here. Then this battle's going to get very tasty indeed then. T Sammy then only 6 at the moment then. At the moment, Patrick, do you think he's buying his time, or do you think that he's struggling with the pace around here?
I mean, I think it's a bit of both. You've got to do a bit of biding your time, but looking at this going through, we've got Maxi on the back of T Sam, like you said, and he's going to probably be able to make a move into this turn 6 hairpin. Look at that, we've got people side by side. Asdog again going down the inside of Timmy. Like I said, he's not got the straight line speed, has Timmy. He's going to get the cutback though, and he's back through. But look at those 4 cars all in one picture. This is going to be an absolutely fantastic race for the top 4 positions. Of course, we've got Maxi in behind in the Red Bull, but looking at that, we got Asdog trying to defend there, but once again, look at that, Maxi around the outside of T-Sam. He's gone around the outside. What a move from him. Maxi with an absolutely fantastic move around the outside, and T-Sam, he's going to want to get him back into the stadium's section. He's going to be able to go down the inside. No, he has to come back in, and that was a fantastic move from Maxi there to get ahead in the Red Bull, and he is the man to watch in this race, most definitely.
What a barnstorming move that is on the outside. My goodness me, that is bravery of the utmost, isn't it? That was a fantastic move there from Maxi there. And Patrick, explain to us how difficult that is to pull off a move like that on the outside of a driver such as T-Sammy and making that stick. That was amazing.
Not only that, T-Sammy 6 times a winner this season alone, and then Maxi went around the outside of one of the most tractionless corners of the entire track. In qualifying and in Q3 with no fuel in the car and soft tyres, it's hard to get the traction down in that corner. To go around the outside there, unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable.
We're just watching Roscoe. He's gaining on Matt. He's going on the outside. Matt has got the inside. Is Roscoe going to go for the switchback? He is going for the switchback. Has he got the purchase? Not quite. Matt is still just in front there. And look at the background as well. Hogg is in the pits and he had a bit of a spin in turn 1. I think he's damaged the front nose cone of the Ferrari. And unfortunately then that's Hogg on the back foot then. So hopefully he might be hoping now for a safety car from his point of view. And look at this. Maxi, I got to say, he's been absolutely incredible. That's a fantastic opening 7 laps. There, isn't he? Max Verstappen, if anyone remembers Max Verstappen's opening couple of laps in 2018 Russia. My goodness me, Maxi has kind of got one better, hasn't it? 7 laps here in Germany, and absolutely brilliant stuff as well. And he doesn't have a long straight, has he, going down to turn 2? Fantastic stuff there from Maxi. What a way to start! 8 positions gained on the opening 8 laps. My goodness me! And look at this, he's all over the back of Asdog. They're going into turn 1. Turn 1 is a very perilous overtaking corner, isn't it? In turn 1. If anyone remembers 2014, Matt had a bit of went head over heels, didn't he? We got a yellow flag as I think it's Sven there who's come a cropper again by looks in the stadium sector, but he's on his way, so don't worry Sven fans, he is still there or thereabouts then. Back on board with Max Dennis. We're on the back straight, but I think Asdog is gaining on Timmy there, looking very vulnerable, isn't he? And Asdog is going to go on the inside then. He's side by side with Timmy's braked much later there than on the McLaren, and look at that, he's going on the outside. That's incredible, but look at this then, and Asdog isn't just about enough for him. Oh wow, that's amazing stuff. But he's gone off the inside into the King. Asdog is over the 4th position, but Timmy is gone off the inside into the Mercedes grandstand. Asdog is through up in the 4th position. Maxi's also involved in one. Maxi's going on the inside. There's contact.
Contact.
He's gone around in the middle of the track there, and Maxi has spun around there. It's just a slight clip there, and unfortunately he's gone around then. And what a shame then for Maxi. Patrick, how do you view that one?
Oh, Maxi has so much pace, he did not need to go in there. I mean, it was always going to be a corner where the space was just going to absolutely vanish. That was a bit of a brash move there from Maxi. I mean, if you see a space, go for it, but at the same time, he could have waited. He could have waited one more lap to get ahead. He's still in the race, he's still P7. He can catch up against T-Sammy, of course. He only lost 1 position in all of that, so it's not the worst thing that could have happened, but you never know with a safety car, something like that, it could be right back on them. But I was going to say that ever since Maxi got past T-Sammy, Sammy's just had no pace whatsoever. He's just falling back from Timmy and Asdog, and the championship contender, championship leader, is just got no pace at all. He's got absolutely no pace. Of course, the winner at Silverstone is just being left behind.
That's really interesting. Of course, we have heard about drivers having bogey tracks. Penny's gone. Penny's out of the race. She got a virtual safety car. That's a big old smash there in turn 1 there. We was expecting turn 1 to be the turn where people was going to bite the dust, so to speak. And unfortunately, Penny, the long-time veteran of IRC, unfortunately is out of the race, and that's a shame now for Penny. It really is there. He was he potentially could have got through the Q3, but unfortunately he made a mistake on his qualifying lap, and now he's out of the race. And so a big shame now for the Mercedes driver, and that's a big shame indeed, isn't it? And of course, there, I was just talking about T-Sammy, and maybe is this a bogey track for T-Sammy, do you reckon? Because we have heard that drivers try not to admit it, but there are some tracks where drivers just don't like it. Do you think that's a track for T-Sammy, or do you think we're expecting him in the second half of the race to really come good?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there is some bogey tracks for some drivers. I have some bogey tracks. Everybody has a bogey track. Oh, but look at that behind the virtual safety car. Matt and Roscoe actually made contact there. I think the Toro Rosso didn't actually get any damage going in the final corner. I don't know if you saw it. Roscoe also getting the 3-second time penalty there as well. But what I would have said there, I would have actually gone into the pits then. Gone into the pits, put the hard tyres on. Look at that, Roscoe down the inside into turn 3. There's going to be a tiny bit of contact there, but thankfully they both give each other enough space. But look at that, DRS is going to be instantly enabled. Of course, it's only a virtual safety car, so Roscoe is going to be able to get side by side with Matt and going into turn 6, already ahead. And look at that, unless Matt can fight back, Roscoe is already up into P2. Look at that, Timmy behind as well with Asdog as Roscoe goes defensive. Timmy going down the inside of Asdog. No, he can't quite do it. He has to keep up. But look at that. Timmy's actually got quite a bit of front wing damage. So I think maybe there's a bit of contact behind the virtual safety car there. And Timmy has lost an entire end plate of his McLaren car. But what I was going to say was, I would have used that time, one of the virtual safety cars, actually come into the pits, put the hard tyres on, because you can definitely make it to the end of the race. And of course, under the virtual safety car, you lose a lot less time than you would on a normal racing pit stop. So I think Steve and Roscoe and Matt, of course, actually missed a bit of a trick there, as Matt was a bit wide. But yeah, I think they actually both missed quite a big opportunity there to go into the pits.
And remember, alluding to your point there, I think it was Markeloff, wasn't it, in Formula 2? He gained like a ridiculous amount of time, didn't he? And somehow won that race, which was a weird thing. It took the commentators a very long time to work out what it was. It took me a long time. I just didn't get it for ages, to be honest. As into the pits comes Timmy, so I think you're right there with the wing damage there for Timmy that got under the virtual safety car, we believe, because he's coming in the pits on the next lap there. And what a shame for Timmy there. And I think he almost did exactly what happened between Roscoe and Matt there. He has gone to the hard tires. That should get him to the end, we think. And yeah, unfortunately for Timmy there, he's dropped out of the points at the moment. This is looking very juicy as well. Roscoe's got a 7/10 for a second gap then as they come down into the hairpin now then. But what a shame there for Timmy. What a shame there for Timmy, Patrick.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things under the virtual safety car. It has happened before. It's happened even under safety car conditions when somebody's trying to restart the race and you just get a bit too close to that competitor and you just hit them, and unfortunately you lose some of your front wing. Of course, the damage is going to be on, so there's not really much you can do about that. But I must say, Steve at the front is absolutely bolting away. 5 seconds already is the gap on those medium tyres. He should be pitting anytime soon. But it's a case of, when's he going to pit? If I was him, I would wait until Roscoe and Matt pit, because that way, if he was to come out in traffic for pitting now, it wouldn't cause that big of a problem for him. And he's going around one more time. So I would say lap 12 to lap 13 is probably the opportune time under normal racing conditions to make that pit stop. And look at that, Matt's losing a bit of time now as well to Roscoe, so maybe he's got a bit of damage. Look at that, Asdog's actually on the back of Matt now as well. Asdog got a phenomenal pace there in that racing point. He's actually coming on the back of a podium position. Let's see if he can actually get onto Matt and take that podium position away from him.
Remember last season, Asdog had a phenomenal qualifying pace, didn't he? In the races, it just didn't materialise. This season, he's not been very quick on one-lap pace, but in race trim, he's been fantastic, hasn't he? And Steve, remember, has had 3 pole positions, but unfortunately, in those 3 races, he's had bad luck and also maybe wrong decisions here and there. But today, and Matt, they're almost going into the back of Roscoe, and now he's really compromised himself. So that's really give Asdog something to really sniff out on there, hasn't he? It's Timmy's now coming onto the back of Brown as well. Timmy on the hard tires. He's the only man to pit so far for a scheduled stop anyway. And he is now up into 11th position then and past Brown. Good stuff indeed then. But yeah, Matt there almost going to the back of Roscoe. But Matt seems to all of a sudden now start to pick up his pace then. Daniel Thompson has just said Cormac is going to bin it then. So I think I don't think Maxie's got fun there. Or I think it's a bit of banter, isn't it? We love a bit of banter, don't we? As they're coming out of the Sachs curve as well then. Sven has got a 3-second penalty. I've got to say, after lap 2, as Matt's in the pit, said, I'll come back to that point in a minute, because Matt is coming to the pits on lap number 13 then, and he slows down to 80 kilometres an hour then, as he's going to the pits, going on to the hard tires. Do you think this is going to trigger the undercut then for Matt?
I think it definitely will do. I mean, going on to these new sets of tyres, actually soft tyres from Matt. That must be a mistake, surely. You want to do a one-stop strategy around here, it's definitely the quickest way. But Matt's actually on the soft tyres. If he doesn't get any traffic, it would be very, very surprising if he didn't actually jump everybody. He'd actually come out there behind Fizzy in the Alfa Romeo. But yeah, he's gone into the soft tyres, which is a bit confusing from my end, I must say, unless he's got some sort of master strategy that he hasn't come out with until now, as Brown gets a 3-second time penalty for running wide once again. But yeah, Matt, stuck in traffic. If he gets through it quick enough, he should be able to jump those of Roscoe. Of course, Asdog was on the back of them as well, so maybe if he gets past Roscoe, he'd have to jump him as well. But if I was Matt, I thought that would have been the perfect time as he gets past Fizzy now into the turn 6 hairpin to actually have used that to get that hard tyres on and go to the end of the race. But he's going for the soft tyres. Let's see if it works out for him.
Interesting stuff. Do you think Steve's too far in front, because he had a massive 5.3 second advantage though when Matt come in the pits, or just there or thereabouts? Do you think that gap's too big for Matt to get an undercut on Steve?
mean, if he was in clear air on the soft tyres, I would not be surprised. But like I said, going into the stadium section now, he's stuck right behind Sam into that Haas. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Sam's still got some front wing damage. Yes, he has, so that's going to be costing him even more time. So Matt's going to have to get past him now. But look at that, Asdog and Maxi are also in the pits now, so let's see the tyres they get onto. And look at that, Asdog going onto the mediums again, so he's nailed on two-stop strategy. So I think everyone's going for the two-stop strategy today. Let's see what Matt gets through. Is he going to be able to stay in front of him? Yes, he is, just about though. So Asdog must have had a very good in-lap there, as we see Matt going down the inside now of the Haas, and he's going to be able to get through him easily. But look at that bit of... Oh, is it yellow? I think somebody spun in the final sector of the lap. I believe so. Yes, Sven's spun once again, going into the pit lane, but he's going to stay out onto the track. But yeah, Matt's through now, and it looks like he's going to go on a two-stop strategy onto the mediums.
Oh, but Sam's coming back. Alan coming down the hill down here, and look at the background. There's Asdog as well, battling with Fizzy. As yeah, it's not. It looks like the strategy there has been. As we got Sven, who's out of the race, as he is gone into the wall, I think, in turn one there. So that's. We got a virtual safety car.
This is the perfect time. Sorry to cut across you there, mate, but we've got a virtual safety car. So this is the perfect time for Steve and for Roscoe to get into the pits. This is basically a free pit stop for him. Surely Steve's going to go into the pits. Is he? Yes, he is. Perfect decision from him, and it looks like everything's going into his lap today. If he puts the hard tyres on, it should be a perfect race for him. Roscoe in the pits as well, as Sven leaves the session. Of course, he did make that crash, but looking at this now, if the virtual safety car stays the entire time that they're in the pits, this could be perfect for Steve and for Roscoe. Let's see what tyres he put on. Yes, it is the hard tyres for Steve. Perfect strategy in my opinion. Looking at Roscoe as well, he's on the hard tyres, so this is going to be perfect for them too. Let's see though if yes, of course, T Sammy in the pits as well, but T Sammy having to wait, of course, because he's with Toro Rosso as well. That's going to lose him a lot of time, but surely in the virtual safety car he's still going to gain a lot of time with everybody else. Let's see what he does. Asdog going through turn one now, he's not going to be able to jump them, but look at that, we're back under racing conditions, and Roscoe and Steve, a perfect thing for them. And look at that, Matt now and Asdog. Sam going around the outside as well of Asdog trying to get through, going into the turn 6 hairpin as we go through down the DRS into the turn 6. As I was saying, he's going to have to get past him as soon as possible to make that two-stop strategy work. But now looking at Matt's going to have to bolt now to try and get onto the back of Roscoe, get past him, and then build enough gap to get ahead of him again with another pit stop.
Yeah, I think at the moment now, I think that Steve and Roscoe are definitely Mystic Megs, aren't they? They knew that virtual safety car is going to come out there, and they have got a 3.2 second advantage over Matt then, of course, and Matt on the soft tires will have a pace advantage at the moment, but Matt and Asdog are basically guaranteed for a second pit stop. Matt technically doesn't have to make a second pit stop, but my goodness me, if he gets to the end of the race with those soft tires, then he is definitely twinkle toes, isn't he? But I don't think that's going to happen somehow. We're only on lap 15 out of 34, as Sam is really causing Asdog some grief at the moment, isn't he? As he has got wing damage, and also but Asdog there is coming out the exit of the Sachs curve. He is through, having the 4th position then, and Asdog is away then. He's on the medium tires there, of course, so we'll have a pace advantage over the front two, but the front two have got the perfect strategy, haven't they, basically, with the medium to the hard tires. They don't have to pit again then, and I think that it's going to be very difficult for Matt and Asdog there to really to dethrone the front two. We're on board with Max then, as he has come out in 8th position, hasn't he? And he is behind Sprint, and Sprint is done 15 laps on the horse tire, so he's expecting to go quite long into this race, as Maxi's gone up into 7th position then. And even with that delay there, Maxi is still behind T Sammy there, wasn't it, after T Sammy had to queue behind his teammate, as Timmy there is also recovering as well after that wing damage. But Sprint, he is sprinted down that back straight, isn't he? He's going up the the outside of Maxi, but Maxi there just covering him off nicely then. Timmy trying to go up and under, and we're just having a drag race coming into turn 7, but I think Sprint's got this one covered at the moment. But my goodness me, they're like one car at the moment, isn't it? I know McLaren and Mercedes are partnering back up then, but I think that's a bit too much of a partnership there, isn't it? As they was too close together perhaps then. But this is a close battle on track at the moment now, isn't there? 6 seconds then, Roscoe is at the moment. That gap has come down to by a 10th of a second then. Matt is gaining over Roscoe, hand over fist. Remember, it's a two-step tire compound between Matt and Roscoe. I've got to say, this is very interesting indeed, isn't it? There's a mixture of strategy out there which is very intriguing, but Matt is going to have to go great guns in this race, isn't it, to make up a pit stop around here. How as Sam's coming into pits, and how much time do you need to make an extra pit stop around here? Is it about 25 seconds, do you reckon?
Yeah, it's about 25 seconds. The one thing Matt needs to pray for, really, is another crash, another virtual safety car, or another full safety car. That way he can get his pit stop and get out ahead. I must say the people that have lost out a lot from this is actually Timmy. I was about to say, almost loses it. He's still got front wing now, which I think actually he might have made even more contacts. He changed his front wing, as we saw in the pit stops, but he's got even more front wing damage now, has Timmy. So he lost out a lot of time, because of course he went in for the hard tyres before that virtual safety car came out, and he's got more front wing damage now. So Timmy is losing a lot of time there. Maxi, of course, with a lot of pace, he's actually catching on. Oh, as Roscoe gets a 3-second time ahead, that could be crucial at the end of this race. If I'm not mistaken, Steve does not have one as of the moment. Matt does have a penalty. Not sure about Asdog, but yes, we need to make sure they have as least possible penalties as they can. But looking at that, T-Sammy, no pace yet again in that Toro Rosso, and Maxi just cruising up on the back of him. Of course, he is on medium tyres, which are a lot quicker than those hards. T-Sammy's going to be wanting to go to the end of the race, so Maxi's going to have to get past him as well and build that gap to get him into the top 5. But I think it's damage limitation today for T-Sammy.
Matt's back in the pits as well, only after 4 laps. Said, is that a planned pit stop there, or it must be, mustn't it? Because I don't think he's got any damage on that Red Bull. I don't think.
Oh, is he gone? Did he have a drive-through penalty? I think he had a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. That must have been what it was. And that has ruined his race. He has to do another pit stop, of course, and he's down now into 6th place. Oh, that is unbelievably bad luck from him. It's so easy to speed under the virtual safety car. Drive-through penalty, in my opinion, is a very, very harsh decision. Maybe a 5 seconds added on at the end of the race is probably what's best, but that is just unbelievably bad luck for him. So he's had that drive-through penalty. And now looking at... Oh, look at that, actually. Maxi's got ahead of T-Sammy. As I was saying, we did miss that. I do apologise for that. But Maxi's got ahead of T-Sammy now. He's going to be able to bolt now on those medium tyres to get onto the back of Asdog, who is also cruising up to the back of Roscoe at a few tenths per lap. Asdog's actually got quite a lot of pace in that racing point. I must say he's got quite a lot of pace and could be quite a big problem for Roscoe and Steve towards the end of the race if he can keep this pace up.
I gotta say, this is looking very juicy indeed, isn't it? We're on lap 18, we're about half distance. The gap has come from 6 seconds down to 5.3 at the battle at the front between Steve and Roscoe. But as Patrick said, there's a penalty for Roscoe. We believe they're in a penalty for Steve. But that penalty may pay dividends later on. But at the moment, Roscoe's got the bit between his teeth there. Look, the gap has come down to 5.1 seconds again. Max has just set the fast lap of the race. You get a bonus point for fast lap these days in Formula 1. So, Max there has also got the bit between his teeth as well. I gotta say, I'm rubbing my hands with glee here. This is gonna be a fantastic second half to the German Grand Prix. It really is, and strategy is playing out absolutely beautifully well, isn't it? We've got 2 men on the hard tires, 2 men on the medium tires as well, and T-Sammy, who's usually also in the frame as well, is currently just struggling around at the moment. He's in P5 at the moment, which is still a decent amount of points there, but no pace at all, which is really peculiar as well, to say the least. Timmy got damage as well. Timmy would have been in the frame as well, but unfortunately there he's got damage on the wing again. Do you think that's just frustration, or do you feel that how do you think that Timmy's struggling in this race then? Is it down to frustration, or is it just a lack of concentration, do you reckon?
I mean, it's going to be a bit of both, of course. He's been in quite a lot of argy-bargy tussles in this race already with the Mercedes in front of him off sprint, so he's going to have lost his front wing surely, having a battle with him. And looking at him now, riding on board with him, he's got absolutely no front end grip going through the fast right-handers into the stadium section now. But I was just looking at the penalty situation. Steve and Asdog both have 2 warnings, but no penalty so far, so they're going to have to make sure that they keep it nice and clean to keep the penalties away. Roscoe in P2 actually has 2 penalties already. His Max sets another fastest lap, 15.1 on those medium tyres. He is absolutely gunning towards Asdog now. He's actually taken a second out in the last 2 laps alone, so Maxi for me is the one you have to keep an eye on for that 3rd place position, of course. Unless Asdog and Maxi can get past those top 2, it's going to be a battle for 3rd place surely in this race, with both of them still needing to make another pit stop. But looking at that, they're going to have to make another pit stop, and looking at that, Sammy is possibly going to still get a podium out of all this. That just shows what a brilliant driver he is. Keeps himself out of trouble, and he could just get even more points on another podium for his title charge.
This is looking very good as well. It's going to be a race about strategy. We were just on board Timmy there. He just drove into the back of that Mercedes sprint there. So I'm not sure if he hasn't got damage again then on that McLaren there. But it looks like Timmy is having a bit of a difficult race out there at the moment, isn't he? In the McLaren, he's still in the points there, but I feel that Timmy would be a lot higher up, wouldn't he? If it was flat. Same with Matt as well. Of course, Matt getting a drive for penalty, unfortunately. Maxi, we're just watching him now. Patrick said he's the man to keep an eye on. We are watching him now, isn't he? He is the fastest man on track. Then the last 2 laps have been absolutely spectacular, aren't they? Flying fastest laps then for the Red Bull driver. And Maxi is showing some incredible driving skills today. He started, I think it was 14th on the grid, wasn't he? He's up to 4th already on lap 21. I mean, his first 7 laps was Max Verstappen-esque, wasn't it? He just flew through the field there. An absolutely incredible drive there. Sprint is in the pits then. He's done 19 laps on those hard tyres. I wonder if he'll go to the medium tyres to the end of the race then. Do you think that sprint strategy done now in terms of just going to the medium tyre to the end?
Yeah, definitely. Medium tyres, end of the race, easily done for him. And as we were talking then, Asdog actually got that 3-second time penalty I was talking about. So he's now got 3 seconds on his head as well. The only person in the top 5 who doesn't, I believe, is Steve. I'll just double check that off Maxi and tell you, of course, later on when we know what's going on with those penalties. But yeah, Maxi has just got phenomenal pace today in that Red Bull. If he had a good qualifying session, of course, he wasn't allowed to take part. If he had that qualifying session, I would not be surprised if he'd have been battling up there with Steve in that racing point. As we're talking about Steve, he's absolutely cruising at the front of this race. He's doing an absolutely fabulous job up until this point. I don't want to give him the commentator's curse, but he's doing absolutely brilliantly at the moment.
That's usually my job. That's why I've always shied away from giving anyone compliments these days, because it always goes wrong when I say, oh, they're on a great race. But Steve, I think Steve's been very hard done by in some of the races in the season, hasn't it? Where safety cars have come out at the wrong time, which is costing races, race wins and things like that. But today he is, today at the moment, he's got a 5.8 second advantage at the moment, and that gap is starting to creep up once again, isn't it, for Steve there? He dropped it down to 5.1 seconds there, as into the pits comes Matt then again for I think it's almost for a third time, isn't it, in this race, including the drive for penalty there. But yeah, Steve is now extended his advantage there to almost 6 seconds. Fantastic as well. Matt's on the medium tyres then until the end of the race then. So let's see what Matt can salvage from here then. But unfortunately, the man who was on the front row is way down in 8th position, and he is going to lose his second in the championship as well, as he's having a miserable day in the office, isn't he? Maxi's speed seems to have dropped off slightly, as Asdog is the man on the move at the moment. He's 1.6 seconds away from Roscoe at the moment. T. Sammy still was waiting for his pace to come, but it's just not there, is it? I'm expecting him to light up the timing sheets, but at the moment T. Sammy is down in 5th position, having a very quiet day. The championship leader is in the Toro Rosso, unfortunately, but we're on board there as once again it's the 2 Pink Panthers first and third there. The Toro Rosso is 2nd and 5th. The constructors scene is definitely very much a straight fight between those two. Oh, and Red Bull as well, actually, because once again Maxi in 4th position and Matt in 8th position. Very strong team lineup. Remember, the draws was done randomly at the beginning of the season, and they did produce some amazing team lineups, didn't they? And those 3 teams that I've just said have been absolutely fantastic stuff. They really have. As we're on board with Asdog, look at that. That's a 1.8 second advantage. Roscoe's got over himself at the moment. Then you can see just pulls away. Then as that is the advantage of going on the accelerator. Of course, just in front, car's width in front, isn't it? As Harry is now on the whiskers of the points here at the moment. He's sprinting there on the medium tires. He's actually sprinting up to the back. Then let's see how far Sprint can go in the final stages of the race. Then and see if we can get some points. Then Harry in 10th position. Then 2 seconds in front of Harry is Sam, who is 2 seconds in front of Matt. Matt's on the medium tires, who's 3 seconds behind at Fizzy as well then. And this is going to be very interesting indeed then, isn't it? So Maxi and Asdog, do you think they're going to go on to the soft tires now for the end of the race, or do you think the soft tires are they going to last then for about 10-9 laps, do you reckon?
It's very, very hard to see Brown getting another 3-second time penalty. I must say, if I was them, I'd probably pit in now, possibly get another set of medium tyres on. But if they stretch this out for another 5-6 laps, they could easily probably go to the end on soft tyres. But of course, usually you'd have those soft tyres used up in qualifying, but they do have a lot of fresh sets because, of course, it was a intermediate Q3 and Q2, so it could be a very viable option actually for them to go into the soft tyres.
That's a very good point to make as well, isn't it? Of course, you can't just, as Max has got a 3-second penalty as well, that might cost him later on down the line. But that's a very good point that Patrick makes there. Of course, it ain't just about the race anymore. It's also about qualifying as well. You've got to think about the long game, haven't you? And because it rained in qualifying, this might pay dividends for the guys that have got some soft tyres available for them that just sat in the garages ready to be put on for for maybe Asdog and Max. And then later on in this race, I got to say I'm loving this race. We've had some action-packed races, haven't we, in terms of crashes, smashes. We've had some great overtakes this season as well, but this one is a strategical battle, isn't isn't it? And this is about where you got to think what you're going to do, isn't it? And I'm absolutely enjoying this as well. This is going to be, is that just about being the quickest? It's also about being the smartest as well. And that's another reason why I'm sat up here and not on the track as well, because I sometimes don't know my soft to medium tires every now and again. Then as Sprint's having a look on the inside, but Harry there is, oh, he almost missed the apex. So Nurman's back as Sam in 9th position as it stands at the moment with Harry in 10th, and Sprint is alongside Harry. No, he's not. Then he is down in a 10th position at the moment. Then into the pits comes Brown, then both Williams drivers who started in the top 10, unfortunately 12th and 13th then, and not having the best of days out there, the Williams drivers at the moment. Lap 25 out of 34. This has been a cracking duel, hasn't it, up and down the field? It really has. I gotta say it's been an absolute textbook drive, hasn't it, from Steve at the front there. It really has. I'm really impressed with Steve today. Qualifying absolutely nailed on, and today in the race he has just been absolutely spectacular stuff indeed, hasn't he? As this is the close battle track mode. It's actually between Harry and Sprint now for the final point then of this German Grand Prix. And of course the next race is actually in Hungary. And that's a technical track, isn't it? Of course, it's a dust pole, isn't it? First Grand Prix was way back in '86 then as well. As I wasn't even born then. I was going to say I was a young nipper, but I ain't that old, not yet anyway. But yeah, I was a young nipper back in the day when Hungarian Grand Prix was first debut. And that's a technical track, isn't it? This one isn't too technical, is it? But I've got to say, it's produced a very tense race affair, hasn't it? PB in the pits as well. Then both Williams guys are just following each other. Sprint is on the inside in the hairpin. He is through, but Harry, oh my goodness me, giving him a bit of a kiss there as they come out of the hairpin. Harry did, but I think Sprint should get the inside. He does have the inside, and oh, they've come together. Oh. That's oh dear me, that was an interesting one there. As they were getting very keen there, Patrick.
Oh, I mean, the worst part for me that would have been there is the fact that he's taken out the 50-metre board. That's one of the perfect things to use for a braking marker. Of course, there's people who use a racing line, but personally myself and everybody else in this lobby who don't use it, it's going to be such a problem for them. But looking at this now at the front, we've got Maxi closing on the back of Asdog, and Asdog is also closing it, almost in the DRS now of that of Roscoe. Of course, they've both got to make another pit stop of Asdog and Maxi. They've both been on medium tyres from lap 1, if I'm not mistaken. I'll double check that before I make that a permanent thing. But yes, looking at this now, Asdog on the back of Roscoe and Maxi. But it's been a great race so far, I must say. Matt in P8 is also cruising up to the back of Fizzy now as well. All those 4-lap old medium tyres, surely he'll be able to get past and down this straight into turn 6. Of course, this turn 6 is going to be the main place of overtaking. Is Fizzy going to go defensive? No, he isn't. I think he's just accepting it now that, of course, he's going to get through on those fresh tyres. Of course, Fizzy's still got that front wing damage. But yeah, he's just let Matt through there. And it's been a great race so far, but let's see what happens at the front now.
Oh, and as soon as you say, oh, that's a Williams off the track there, and it's I think it's PB actually. It's just gone off the track there. I was going to say, as soon as you said that, I'm sure I should have read ball off the track there, and I was panicking a bit. I thought it was Maxi, but it was one of the Williams there, just having a detour there. Yeah, you saying that the Fizzy didn't fight that too hard. Then I got to say, I've pulled the rest. I think when he was in F1 there, sometimes did get a bit of stick there for not battling as hard as he should there. But he was always thinking about the long game. Paul the rest of us. I remember back in 2012, I think it was Singapore, where he went very long on a set of tyres there, and he wasn't battling too hard, but it really paid dividends. And I think he got a very good position there, didn't he? So how difficult is it just to let your just kind of think about the long game? Because for me personally, I find it very difficult to think about my strategy.
Yeah, it's hard. It's very hard. Sometimes you have to actually kind of take your pride aside and just let people through, because all it's going to do is just cost you time. We saw it yesterday in the race with me, actually, on the final few laps. I was getting involved in battles that I just didn't need to get involved in. PB gets another 3-second time penalty. But I must say the person to watch out for, of course, as always, is the championship leader of T. Sammy. Even though he's in a lonely race in P5 at the moment, he's got a big gap to Timmy. And when Maxi and Asdog pit, he's going to be in prime position to get another podium to add to his collection this season and gain even more points in his championship charge. As we see, Asdog actually does make that pit stop now. Is Max going to follow him? Yes, he does. Both of them on medium tyres, both of them 13 laps old. And I'm thinking and looking at this point, they could both go into a set of soft tyres. We'll see.
To me, I feel that they ain't going to be able to regain their oh, and who is that in the wall? That's a smash. That's Hogg in the wall. He's done a Glock, but it's a big old smash on the inside there.
Safety car.
Oh, and
unbelievable. This puts Asdog and Maxi in a perfect position now. They're going to get out in P4 and P5. Yes, they do. They both do. And look at that now. P4 and P5 under the safety car. They're going to have an absolutely brilliant amount of time now. I did say they need to pray for a safety car, and they've got one. 0 laps on those soft tyres. Steve Roscoe and T. Sammy now are going to be so vulnerable on those hard tyres.
It's typical, isn't it? I was just about to say that I can't see him getting back into a third and fourth position, and the safety car comes out. So basically, that just shows my knowledge, doesn't it? So I'm wondering now then, of course, the safety car's out. These guys got to perform, just to adhere to a delta time, so they can't just steam around and get into the pits then. Do you think Steve, Roscoe and T. Sammy are going to come into the pits then and throw on a set of soft tires? Have they got the gap to do so, do you think? Or do you think it's going to be too is it not big enough?
I mean, for Steve, I think it is possible. It is possible, and he is actually pitting now. He is pitting for a set of soft tyres. I think that was probably the best thing he could have done. We actually saw in the elite race yesterday, the top three didn't pit for when the last safety car came out, which I think it actually came out at basically the same amount of time as this. But looking at the people who did pit, they gained so much time at the end of the race. And look at that now, Steve's in the pits, and look at that, Roscoe's in as well. Is T. Sammy going to pit? Yes, he does. He's going to have to queue up again, surely, though. Behind Roscoe, we'll see. All of them going on a set of soft tyres, and it looks like they do have enough time now to go out and through. Yes, they do. Asdog and Maxi coming across the start-finish straight now. And looking at that now, Roscoe being able to get out. Is T. Sammy? No, he's not going to be able to get out. He's still in the pits, and Maxi and Asdog have gained that position back on them. So it's going to be a straight fight now at the end of the safety car to the end of the race.
This is absolutely brilliant stuff, isn't it? We have got a sprint race now, haven't we, with 5 laps to go. It'll be about 4-3 when the safety car comes in. This is absolutely a beautiful end to the race, hasn't it? Up till now, I'd say the race has been absolutely immaculate, hasn't it? There's been an incredible strategical battle throughout the race, and it's been tense, it's been nail-biting. Now we have got it. Now we're going to have a straight fight, isn't it? It's going to be an all-out battle royale, isn't it, to see who's going to be the winner of the German Grand Prix. Steve, who was in a comfortable lead, is all of a sudden going to be under pressure as well. Once again, it seems to the bad luck all seems to fall on Steve. Fizzy has not come in the pits. He's on the hard tyre still. I think he's going to be swamped, isn't he, Patrick? Do you think that he's going to be able to defend off 14 laps hard tyres? I can't see him defending that position at all.
I mean, let's not forget he's got front wing damage as well. It's going to be such a problem for him to get that front wing and those hard tyres towards the end of the race in the points now, with everybody else on completely fresh soft tyres apart from PB on 4-lap old mediums. So I would really look out here for the penalties at the end of the race. We saw this yesterday with the amount of penalties that people got. This can shift around so quickly with only 3 laps to go until the end of the race when the safety car comes in. Of course, we see 3 laps behind the safety car, and Sam actually gets another 3-second time penalty behind the safety car. I'm not sure how he managed that, but looking at Steve now going as close as he can to the safety car. But Steve is the only person in the top 5, actually, technically wrong, in top 4, that doesn't have a penalty. T. Sammy also doesn't have a penalty. He's on 0-lap old soft tyres, so is Steve. And look at this now, T. Sammy, who knows what's going to happen? He could also actually have a big impact in the final part of this race.
I got to say, this is a great race, isn't it? As we just see the Williams there just fly by. He can unlap himself, of course, then, so he's just going to get around to the... Oh, dear me! Maybe not. Brown has been disqualified for ignoring yellow flags. That's a big no-no. Black flag... no, then a black flag. It's a 5-second penalty, sorry. I thought he said disqualified then. I'm getting too ahead of myself. As Brown there is just accelerating around then, very keen to catch it to the back of the field. He hasn't been disqualified. I apologise to Brown profusely, and so I jump ahead again. So we're waiting for the safety car to come in now. So yeah, Brown is just trying to catch up the safety car. He's 50 seconds away from his teammate, who's 10 seconds away. I'm hoping the safety car come in this lap then, but I have a feeling we might have one more lap behind her. I hope not, because I want to get this race going. We want to have an absolutely explosive end to this race, don't we? As Patrick said, then Steve there has got no penalties. That might pay dividends later on then. But Roscoe's going to be feeling hungry, isn't he? He's going to be attacking, isn't he? And Asdog as well, and Maxi, and of course T. Sammy in 5th position as well. Fizzy is still on the hard tyres. I got to say, then he's going to really struggle there. And remember, we've had some incidents behind the safety car as well throughout the season, haven't we? We've got to make sure that there's no 5-second collisions there as well, because it seems it's very difficult to race under safety, to follow the safety car, isn't it? At low speeds, these cars when they're at slow speeds are quite awkward to drive, aren't they? How difficult is it to make sure that you keep a safe distance under safety car? Because it seems like it's just driving slow, isn't it? But it seems to be a bit more difficult than what it seems.
Oh, it's incredibly hard. It really is incredibly hard. I actually found out yesterday when I was going through, I always found it really hard to just keep temperature in the tyres and actually make sure that I wouldn't be spinning across the final corner. Because, of course, when you set off again, or when the leader sets off again, I must say, you kind of caught off by surprise on these safety car restarts. You have to make sure you got enough temperature in your tyres, but also stay as close as you can to them to not be left behind. And 2 people, I must say, are in fantastic position now. after everything that's happened to them in this race is Timmy and Matt. Timmy's got another brand new front wing on his car, so hopefully if he doesn't have any contact, he can go through the field and maybe challenge those people up front. Of course, we've got Fizzy in front of them both, who's going to be really slow on those old hard tyres. He's 16 laps old now, and he's got front wing damage, so if I was Timmy, I'd be wanting to get past him instantly, and then maybe get on the back of T Sammy.
Indeed, I think Fizzy might be a mobile chicane to begin with, unfortunately. A lovely shot. I got a lovely shot there from the rear wing of the racing point, wasn't there? As you can see, there was like a pack of wolves, weren't they? They were just hounding Steve. They wanted to take this position away from it, which Steve has done an absolutely immaculate race on there. Sometimes sport is unfair. It'd be unjust if Steve doesn't win this race there. But of course, that's the beauty about live sport. It's not handed to you, is it? You have to fight all the way, don't you? And I think Steve will be fighting all the way to the checkered flag. He has drove an absolutely pristine race. I remember yesterday, Murphy there didn't get any penalties at all, I don't believe, in the Toro Rosso. Absolutely driver of the day performance there from the Toro Rosso. And once again, we got another Toro. There's the beautiful message. Safety car is in at the end of this lap. We'll be back racing in just a few moments. Lap 31, 32, 33, 34 then. We have got not very long left to go in this race. This is going to be fantastic stuff then. It's a rolling start around here then, so we do not line back up on the grid, even though I must admit, Brown has just exceeded the track limit. He's accumulating a lot of penalties there, isn't it? I think he's trying to get as most he can, really, can't he? But Brown is on the back, then the PB is down in 13th position there. The Williams guys are on a bit of a miserable old race then. We're back racing. Roscoe's got a 5-second penalty there for severe collision with Steve. I don't think that was a 5-second penalty. I don't really see what happened there. Lap 32 then, let's go back racing then. Steve, Roscoe, Asdog, Maxi, T Sammy, then Fizzy, then Timmy, Matt, Sam and Harry. That's the top 10 on 32 out of 34. We're down into turn 2 as well. Asdog is looking close to Roscoe, then Roscoe is to Steve at the moment then. It's an accelerator out of turn 2 then, flying onto the back straight as well then. No DRS. I think we might have DRS on the final lap then, so it's going to have to be a more natural overtake, so to speak, isn't it? They come down the back straight on. Look at this then, as Fizzy's under a lot of pressure there in the background. There's Timmy going side by side there with the McLaren. He is through and up into 6th position. Or is he? There's a bit of contact there. Fizzy's got a 3-second penalty there. Timmy is up in 6th position, 57th. Matt is up to 8th. No, he isn't. He's down to 9th. No, yes, he is down to 9th. And look at this, side by side. My goodness me. Timmy now is coming aggressively across the track then. Fizzy is down to 7th then. Matt's got a 3-second penalty as well then, as Sam has got in front of him as well then. So can Sam move over competition as well? Fizzy there is under a lot of pressure now, isn't he? As he is being absolutely swamped by the guys behind him then. As is Sam going to have a look into the Sykes curve? It's very difficult to overtake there. You need a willing partner there, don't you, into the Sykes curve? And Fizzy is not a willing partner, is he, to overtake them? Max is now 2/10 of a second away from Asdog, as Max is now starting to find his feet there. See, he's set the fast lap on that 33 then, as it's going to be interesting to see who gets fast lap as well. Look at Sam, he's all over the back of Fizzy going into turn 1. Oh my god, oh, that's a quarter cut if I've ever seen one, my goodness me. As now they're on the now Sam has got in front and now can Matt go on the inside? He's going on the inside. Fizzy there is giving him space there, very gentlemanly. There Fizzy is, oh my goodness me, I thought he was spinning. And Matt has gone on the outside, he's going on the grass there, but he is still on it there. He's still on it. Fizzy has come across him, so Matt is going back in the slip straight and come down the back straight, going into turn 6 then. Where are they? There they are. Look at us, there's 3 abreast and there's Harry involved as well. Harry's on the inside. Harry's on the inside. Oh my goodness me, Matt's a sandwich. And now we've also got William. No, then it's Sprint there on the inside as well. Harry's up to 8th. A fantastic maneuver there from Harry. Good stuff indeed. Then Matt is in on for this. Then we got Fizzy being dropped on the inside. Matt is on the inside. Fizzy steamed in there.
Contact.
My goodness me, that was a daily and a dollar short there from Fizzy, but he's dropped down to 10th position then. Harry up in the 9th position. Fizzy in 10th position. Sprint there is in 11th position then. Wow, what an end to this race then. As I said, it's been tense up to this point. Now all of a sudden we got some of the action as well then. As Sprint there is a Williams there going on the back there, very nicely indeed there. DRS has been enabled on the final lap then, and Steve is out at DRS. Absolutely fantastic driving from Steve all the way through this race. He has been absolutely impeccable, hasn't he? Fantastic stuff from Steve. Really well done indeed. And I'll let Patrick get a word in now. Sorry about that, buddy. What a restart there.
An amazing race this and an amazing restart. And looking at this now, the top 4, 2nd, 3rd and 4th have all got DRS, but look at that, Steve bolted at the front. It's going to be the only opportunity for Matt Shirley. Going down the inside, sorry, for Maxi, and the Red Bull also for that of Asdog. He's going around the outside. Yes, he's going to try around the outside of Roscoe. Roscoe is taking down the inside. Look at that, Matt. Oh, Maxi made contact with him, and there's some front wing gone. Look at that. T Sammy, the person who I did say is probably the best place now to get that last podium position is right on the back now of Max. He's going to be down the inside, going into the Mercedes grandstand. Yes, he is. Yes, he is down the inside of Max. It's going to be a great move from him. He's going to be able to cold down the outside. No, he's not. But looking at that, he's up into P4 and surely going to be even higher when people have got penalties added to the time. But Steve going in the final section now is absolutely dominated this race.
He really has. Steve has been absolutely amazing, hasn't he? From qualifying to the race, and this has been a brilliant drive from Steve. I'd say one of the best of the season in terms of how he's controlled it from a race winner. Steve wins the German Grand Prix. Fantastic stuff from Steve. Second position is Asdog. No, it is T. Sammy. He's moved on to second position. Brilliant stuff. Timmy's having the fourth position. We've got a yellow flag at the end there. As someone's had a problem. Then it is one of the Williamses there. As Timmy in fourth. Maxi is down to fifth position, Sprint in sixth position, Roscoe is dropped down to seventh, Matt eighth, Fizzy in ninth, Harry 10th, Ed with PB 11th, Sam down in 12th position, Brown is having a donut in the final corner. What a win from Steve there, and what a drive from T Sammy there, where he looked like he was at sea for most of this race, but what an incredible drive there from T Sammy. Oh my goodness me. And Steve there, a well-deserved winner. I think that was an incredible drive there from Steve there. Hats off to the Racing Point driver. Brilliant stuff indeed there as they're on the podium. Well done to Steve. His first race win of the season. He's had 4 pole positions this season and he's now on top step and brilliant stuff indeed. The championship leader, T Sammy, showing why he is the championship leader. Even on an off day, so to speak, he still had no penalties and he came through to get a second position as well. And Asdog doing a very good job in third position as well. Absolutely brilliant stuff indeed then.
Unbelievable. Fantastic race. I would say for Roscoe, he did have that 5-second penalty behind the safety car. I would say he'd probably want the admins to have a look at that and the stewards to see if he had that penalty taken away, because it looked like it was a very, very harsh penalty. If those 5 seconds were taken off, he more than likely would have been even higher, maybe even near the podium positions. But Steve with a fantastic result. I must say, a very dominant performance, very impressive. And look at that. That just shows, like I said, look at that, top 2, no penalties. Having no penalties just makes you go higher and higher up in the race.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I forgot about that 5-second penalty. Only happened a couple of seconds ago, didn't it? In the end then, Steve won the race. Brilliant stuff with T. Sammy second, Asdog third, Timmy fourth, Maxi Sprint fifth and sixth, Roscoe, Matt, Fizzy and Harry. That's the top 10. PB 11th, Sam 12th, Brown in 13th. Retirements, Hogg, Sven and Penny all retired from this incredible German Grand Prix. And I got to say, Patrick, that was an absolutely fantastic day today. It was a brilliant race as well. Who is your driver of the day?
Oh, where do you start with that one? I mean, it was a fantastic race, like you said, but I must say, even though it's a bit boring to say, Steve absolutely dominated. It all started in Q2 when he made that absolutely fantastic lap on the intermediate tyres to get through into Q3, even though people had set times on the dries. But Steve's done a fantastic race, I must say. He's my driver of the day by a mile.
Absolutely, hats off to Steve. That was an absolutely incredible drive as well. You can't really argue, can you, really? I think that he was just head and shoulders, was so amazing today. Even in the end there, where the safety car might have come out and might have spoiled his day. Not today. Steve was just absolutely incredible stuff, wasn't he? Well done to Steve. And do you want to just sum up the race there for yourself, Patrick? An absolutely incredible day today. It was about strategy to begin with, but in the end there, we also had some fast and furious racing. How would you sum that up?
I mean, like I said, there was a lot of strategy involved today, a lot of strategy. Steve and Roscoe, I think, definitely did have the best strategy going into the final safety car, and of course pitting under that. We had a lot of contact down the field. Of course, Timmy's going to want a bit of an investigation going, surely, for the amount of front wings he's used. He's not going to want to be on McLaren's payroll anytime soon because he'll be spending a lot of money for them. But yeah, a great race, I must say, especially for Super, which has been a fantastic lead to watch. Of course, we had T. Sammy win 6 races so far this season, but today was just an absolutely dominant performance from Steve. And I must say, I do hope I can commentate on many more races to come, because that was absolutely fantastic fun.
I hope so as well, because I'm not as sweaty as I normally am, so I'm much more calmer as well. It also helps my blood pressure. And of course then, the next Super race is actually next Thursday, I believe, in the Hungarian Grand Prix. A very technical, twisty circuit, isn't it? It's a dust bowl, isn't it, the Hungarian Grand Prix? One of my favourites as well to commentate on. Is absolutely fantastic stuff. I hope to have Patrick alongside me as well next Thursday. It's going to be fantastic stuff. You can also see Patrick in action next Wednesday in the Elite League as well, which they will also be in the Hungarian Grand Prix, and that is at 7:30 UK time on this channel, the IRC on the IRC channel. Join us in a week's time where we'll be doing action all over again. This time we're in Hungary.